long. So I'll have more in a moment.
This year, we honor the most important anniversary ever. An event that reshaped civilization as we know it. A day that would lead to something so flawless that nothing could ever really compare. People have tried to match it, but have failed. This year, we celebrate the 60th anniversary of Guthrie's, the home of the original chicken finger. Just talking about it gets me all choked up. And hungry for a chicken finger. Guthrie's, an original obsession for 60 years.
Join us tonight for Crimson Tide Rewind, live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Vestavia Hills at 6 p.m. Central. You can listen on our radio network, the Varsity Network app, as well as catch a video replay on the CTSN YouTube channel. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Guthrie's. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, boom, we're back. We're live. We are brand new. It is Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. We're hanging out here live from the service department here at Bill Penny Toyota. Their doors have just rolled open, and they are open now from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. It is Bill Penny Toyota. Don't forget, with the weather changing right now, you're going to want to make sure you get your battery checked. Toyota True Start batteries come with an 84-month warranty, 24-month free replacement here at Bill Penny Toyota. Make sure you get your car serviced. Also, big thank you to Talon Heating and Air for getting us cranked up this morning as well. TalonHVAC.com. Make sure you get your air conditioner tuned up. $49 heating system as well. TVA will give you $50, so it's $1 you can make. Find them online, TalonHVAC.com, 256-503-4490. Thomas, Terry, Jeremy, our good friends from Talent Heating and Air. It is a Monday morning, 256-576-4977. That's how you can get a hold of us this morning. It's a Monday morning. That also means it's your good, the bad, and the ugly from a full weekend of college football. And I tell you, you sit down and you watch college football now on a Saturday, and it's ever so entertaining. We had some wild finishes, some crazy results from especially in the SEC and then the rest of college football. But you have to start with the events that happened here in the state of Alabama on Saturday. Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, Auburn. You have to break down those in great lengths. If you were not listening to 97.7 ESPN The Zone on Saturday, here's how it sounded courtesy of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
He won't get in. It's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They don't get it off. It's over. Strike up the band and light them up.
That's how it sounded, courtesy of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Chris Stewart there on the final call. Alabama does indeed knock off Tennessee inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. Your final 37-20. Alabama becomes, with that win, Alabama becomes the first SEC team to win not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 straight games over an AP top 25 opponent. Kalen DeBoer also, by the way, is now 19-3 all-time against AP top 25 opponents with that victory. 7-1 all-time against AP teams, since becoming the head coach at Alabama. He also now is 15-2 in 17 games as a head coach in ranked matchups on the Division I level. Kind of let that sit in for just a second. The Tide also become the fourth team in SEC history to defeat 4 consecutive ranked opponents regardless of open dates, doing so for the first time since 2016. Alabama extended its streak to 16 wins at Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's the longest active streak in the country. Isaiah Horton's 2-yard touchdown reception. Remember, that closed the Tide's opening drive. 5th time in 7 games that Alabama has scored a touchdown on its first possession. And Alabama used a 99-yard scoring drive near the end of the third quarter. That marked Alabama's first 99-yard drive since the season opener against Miami in 2021. And then Xavier Brown's 99-yard pick six at the end of the second quarter. That's Alabama's first interception return for a touchdown since 2023. Chris Braswell at Mississippi State. And if you did not hear it, here's how it sounded, courtesy of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
Play action. They want to throw. They do. It's intercepted. Picked off across the 20. Xavier Brown across midfield. One man to beat. Hesitates. Stays on his feet. Scores. Ain't a flag to be found. Xavier Brown took it to the house. 100 yards. And the Tide adds to its lead. Oh, mercy.
Chris Stewart again on the call there for the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
Yeah, it was the 2 biggest plays of the game turned out that made the difference and allowed Alabama to put it away and beat the Vomits for the 17th time in 19 trips and dominate them for the 11th straight time in Tuscaloosa. Was the safety I think later this morning I wouldn't be surprised if. Certainly, it was a breakout game for him, but Jan Zapier ends up the SEC Defensive Player of the Week. He had 3 sacks and almost a 4th, and that one of his sacks led to that intentional grounding in the end zone, which was a huge play, gave Alabama 2 points. And then, as you just let the listeners hear, a great call by Chris Stewart of the Crimson Tide Sports Network, but that was at the very end of the half. Only 9 seconds were left. Tennessee did not have any timeouts, so they basically, if they wanted to get 2 plays off, they had to throw the football. And if it was incomplete, then you still got time to run the kicker out there and get 3 out of it. But if you complete it and it's short of the goal line, or you try to run the football and you don't score, you're very likely going to get nothing. They got nothing anyway because Alabama called timeout. I think they felt like that. They were probably going to try to target Kitselman because they'd already hit Kitselman on a 4th down and kept the chains moving. And Miles is one of their better players. And, I know we've talked about Justice Haynes a little bit and the yards he's rolled up for Michigan. I mean, good for him. I'm glad he decides that I guess they're making him practice at Michigan. I don't know. He didn't feel like practicing a lot at Alabama. But he's a really good player. But you could argue, and it's crazy, nobody would have thought this, everybody knows the best player Alabama lost to the transfer portal is Caleb Downs. He's a first-team All-American. He's going to be a top 10 pick in the draft. He's already won one national championship with Ohio State, and he played in the playoff with Alabama his freshman year. But I'm going to tell you what, Miles Kitselman has been as good as any player besides Caleb Downs that left Alabama. And he was like a bit guy at Alabama. He didn't play a ton, but he's become a team captain, a starter, and a really good player for Tennessee. And congrats to him. And but Alabama jumped the route. And the thing that made it still harrowing is once Xavier picked it off, I mean, everybody knew he had a chance to score, but that wasn't guaranteed. And the time was going to run out. It was going to be the last play of the half because he had to go. They ended up officially calling it 99. First it was 100, and then but they. Yes. I mean, man, the okey doke, the little high step where he was able to get away from Deshaun Bishop, and I want to apologize for those that listen to Bam's radio. I said Star Thomas. It was actually Deshaun Bishop who had a hell of a game for Tennessee. But he was able to break that tackle, get away, and score because it would have been a huge play anyway because Tennessee gets no points. But if Alabama, if he gets tackled, then Alabama doesn't get anything out of it except for the turnover. So it was a huge play you go from what's looking like 16-14 or 16-10, which is a one-score deficit basically, to Alabama's winning 23-7 at halftime and feeling pretty good about things. Now, to Tennessee's credit, and that's what good teams do.
Right.
And I hate Tennessee, but I'm going to sit here and give them credit. They came out swinging in the third quarter. I mean, they stopped Alabama, and then they went down and scored. Deshaun Bishop had a 44-yard touchdown run, and pretty much the rest of the game, Tennessee was still in a hole, but it still felt like they were in the game.
Right.
And they were in, and really wasn't put away until Alabama had the 99-yard drive, which, championship teams do that.
Yes.
Tennessee, I thought Tennessee did a great job with their kicking game. I thought their punter was outstanding, and he pinned Alabama deep. But as usual, Ty was really good on third down. He kept the chains moving. Now, in that situation, on first down, he hit Ryan Williams with about a 13 or 14-yard catch to get out of the hole. And speaking of Ryan Williams, what have I been harping on, Scott? I've been harping about this catching with your hand stuff. And I know this wasn't the biggest stat game for Ryan Williams. We know what he's done against Georgia.
But he made some big catches. They targeted him early, and he made some big plays.
Well, and that's what I mean. In this game particularly, he didn't score a touchdown, but he had 5 catches for 87 yards.
Yes.
And all of them were of some level of difficulty, and he caught all of them with his hands.
Yes.
And just about every one of them moved the chains and were big plays for Alabama during drives. And I just thought for, who they played and the plays that he made and the level of difficulty, because, again, every throw is not going to be perfect. You got to help your quarterback out. I thought Ryan Williams really stepped up, and I thought he was one of the 3 or 4 game ball guys that you would award for Alabama.
All right, so Alabama does get the win. By the way, you mentioned Pierre. He's the first Alabama defender to have 3 sacks in a game since Christian Harris did that against Georgia in the College Football National Championship game.
We were sitting in the end zone. I talked about how good Christian Harris played that day. Yeah, but after we froze our butts off trying to get in there.
Alabama gave up 7 first-half points. That's it. That's the fewest by the Tennessee offense in any half of play since 2024 against Ohio State in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I look, man, after watching Tennessee, they're a good football team.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Joey Aguilar is a good fit for what they do. He's a tough guy. He took some shots, and he delivered some big-time throws. I'll just be honest with you, man. After watching the Tennessee-Alabama game on television a year ago and then seeing this one in person, it's like comparing a Rolls-Royce to a Pinto from the quarterback play.
Joey Aguilar, to your point, 28 of 44, 268 yards, a touchdown, and that 1 interception.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still recovering from all the cigarettes. I mean, excuse me, not cigarettes. It was mostly – there's a few cigarettes. But, I mean, it was mostly, cigars. I mean, they had the top windows open, where you could smell the cigar smoke and it starts coming in around the middle of the third quarter. But yeah, I'm still kind of recovering from that. But yeah, I mean, no question that I thought both QBs played well. Last year, neither QB could make a read to save his life. Basically, they were just running and or throwing the ball and if they needed to hit the exit sign, they were going to hit that painting over there. But except for one deep ball that Nico Iamale Moneybags did hit that ended up being big in the comeback of the game. But I thought the quarterback play was high level for both guys.
So despite the loss for Tennessee, 37-20, you think still Tennessee did an upgrade in the quarterback position?
Oh, no question. And they're still a good team. But I will say, after seeing them, I've seen both Vanderbilt and Tennessee in person, Scott.
Right.
But Tennessee's the second best team in their state. Vanderbilt's better, at least right now.
We're going to get to that here in a minute.
LSU certainly found that out on Saturday. LSU. Sorry, not today.
Yeah. I tell you what, let's get our first break in. We'll get back to some more good, the bad, the ugly of college football Saturday.
LSU was ugly Saturday.
Well, we also got to talk about Auburn.
No.
Because Hugh Freeze, again, point blank asked in a post-game press conference, are you the right guy to lead this job? We'll let you hear what Hugh Freeze had to say after this break.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Week 9 is here. We have 2 games of the week. Thursday will be Mae Jemison taking on Gadsden City, and on Friday, Huntsville and Bob Jones. Also coming up on Friday over the airwaves of 97.7 ESPN The Zone will be Buckhorn taking on Coleman. Madison Academy is at Plainview. Randolph plays host to North Jackson. Sparkman's at Florence, and Westminster Christian's at home to New Hope. Be sure and download our app and follow the action all season long.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bag compressor or leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
She's gone. She's gone. I better learn how to face. She's gone. She's gone.
You know, we could actually use that song
For Billy Napier.
We could jump ahead. Well, Billy Napier and Jay Norvell.
Yeah, Jay
Colorado
Norvell,
State. You know, both another weekend, another happy trails to a couple college football coaches, and we'll break Billy Napier down, and we'll break all that down here.
And we had 2 more that I thought might get beat. He's gone, but it didn't happen.
Yeah. So Saturday, Auburn falls to Missouri in double overtime. Here, we'll break the game down in a second, but here was Hugh Freeze after the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, listen, we all know what we signed up for, and I certainly know that fit what Auburn is all about. But Auburn is also about winning football. And, I we're going to come to work Monday and get our kids ready to play Arkansas. And these kids are playing their guts out. And I know that we've changed the talent level here. But at the end of the day, at some point, you have to win football games. And, I don't make those decisions, those calls. I just know that God's called me here to lead these young men through a very challenging and difficult time. And I'm not enjoying it a whole lot of that part of it. But yet, man, when you're called to have backbone and to stand and walk through and do a job that you've been asked to do, you're going to do it faithfully and do it really well, or as well as you can until that time does not exist. And I know we're close, and I know we'll get it over the hump. And I certainly, no one hurts for these incredible fans more than me and our staff. And so we're close, but I know that people are tired of hearing that, because I'm tired of saying it and I'm tired of feeling it. But I do know that anyone that looks, this stretch of games was against 4 really, really good teams.
There you go. Hugh Freeze after the loss to Missouri. And he is right. It was against, and Auburn has played some really good football teams in that stretch.
Oof.
But at the same time, too, it's one thing. That stretch is Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Georgia, and Missouri. Really good football teams. But the problem is the inconsistencies on offense.
Yes.
The lack of production not even just inconsistencies, the lack of production as a whole offensively for Auburn. Their defense held Missouri to 23 points. The Tigers are holding opponents to an average of 12.6 points fewer than their scoring average. Defensively, Auburn is one of the best teams in the country. But offensively, they're one of the worst.
No, they are. It's a fact. Once again, their defense, if you had told me going into the game, and I actually picked Mizzou in this game, so I got it right, but only because I just felt like Auburn would do what Auburn did, and that's find a way to lose, because they're just not very good on offense. And of course, when you're not, every mistake is magnified.
Right.
Cam Coleman dropped what could have been a touchdown, and so but you look at it, they held Missouri to 91 yards on 44 rushes. And that is tremendous. They want, just like Alabama was able to limit Ahmad Hardy, certainly Auburn did. Now, he scored 2 touchdowns, but he only had 58 yards on 24 carries. And then Purbulla didn't do a whole lot. He did score a touchdown in the overtime, what turned out to be the winning touchdown from 3 yards out, but he only averaged 1.8 yards a rush for 28 yards. And so they just did a good job of making him one-dimensional. And then Purbulla did what he did against Alabama. He threw 2 interceptions. And so with 5 minutes to go in the game, Auburn was up, 17-10, and had done a nice job. But see, you're not playing complimentary football. They did give up that drive, and Missouri tied it with 5 minutes to go and ended up going to overtime. But look, Alex McPherson missed 3 field goals, including 1 in overtime. If you make those kicks in regulation, I'm talking about the 2 in regulation, then, man, you win the game. You've got to do the little things. It's like Alabama against Vanderbilt. If Connor Talty had not made the 3 field goals that he made, 30, 30, and 38, after he missed a 46-yarder,
right,
then Alabama might have been in some trouble, because they were not finishing drives with touchdowns, but you have to score points. And so, and everybody knows Alex McPherson's story. We're all continuing to root for him to get back to being himself.
Yes.
But that's just like your snake bit or something, because I would have never thought that McPherson, if he was healthy enough to kick, which he obviously Auburn felt like he was, you wouldn't feel like he's going to miss 3 field goals. So it's like almost like when a boat springs a leak and you plug the hole and then another hole pops up.
Yes,
so
yes.
That's just kind of what's going on with Auburn.
And the one that McPherson, to your point, the one that he missed, I think, in overtime.
Yeah. was like 37 yards.
Was that because – and it ends up being a little bit longer because the problem, Jackson Arnold holding the football too long pushes them back even further. And remember, Alex McPherson, and what they tell you is, and what Auburn will tell you is Alex McPherson, there's a certain range that they felt comfortable with him in because he's still not 100% healthy.
It's usually 50 and in is what they've been saying.
And so it was pushing his range, and then you take a sack because Jackson Arnold holds the football again too long.
It still was well within his range, but it's just one of those things where you just, man, it's just tough. I mean, and Auburn, the only thing that you did say that I didn't think was asinine was that Auburn is really close. But I mean, some of the other stupidity is just like read the cue card off of a Jimmy Swaggart sermon or something. I mean, but bottom line is he's got to win games, and they've been in position to win them all.
Right.
And I wasn't sure, we're going to talk to Brian Matthews here at the top of the second hour, but when he did lose and the way they lost, I thought, man, I wonder if it's going to be a black, Sunday for Auburn. But so far they have not done anything. They haven't made a move, and just trying to do some digging yesterday. I don't think they're going to, at least now. We'll see what happens, after the Arkansas game. Because, look.
They're favored, by the way. They were favored to start the week against Missouri.
Yeah.
They're favored to start the week now against Arkansas.
I was a little surprised by that, only because Arkansas under Bobby Petrino has played two really close football games against quality opponents. And so you have to sit there and, they lost 34-31 to Tennessee on the road.
Yes.
And then they returned to Fayetteville this past Saturday. And Texas A&M, who last undefeated team in the SEC now, Scott, 45-42. But, the one thing you can say is that Auburn going on the road here, Arkansas is not very good on defense.
No.
So if Auburn is ever going to win a road game, this would seem to be the one. But I'm almost like Jake Crane, and I'm just like, I've come now. Just you're gonna have to show me you're gonna win, because I'm gonna pick Arkansas unless I might change my mind. But I know they've really struggled at home, and in this series it's been weird lately. Like Auburn has played well in Fayetteville, but with you right now, it just seems like they can't get out of their own way.
By the way, against ranked opponents during his tenure at Auburn right now, Hugh Freeze is just 1-12.
1 for
14-18 overall.
Right.
And 5-15 in the SEC as Auburn head coach. 5 SEC wins so far for Hugh Freeze.
Well, and the most damning thing is that with that overtime loss to Missouri, or double overtime, excuse me, he's 9-10 at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And they're supposed to have and they usually do have a big time home field advantage, but under Hugh Freeze, they have not been able to win. Brian
Matthews throwing some of these stats our way this morning. And he, again, joined us at the top of the hour. Auburn's first half, a 75-yard touchdown drive, a 46-yard pass. Rest of the half, 1 yard on 15 plays.
Ugh. How do you do that?
That is a very, very good question.
That's hard to do. Like
1 yard on 15 plays.
15. And you have good players. So that's why I took the attitude right after it was over. I was like, look, Bobby P and them are scoring points. Now, admittedly, this will probably still be a game where Auburn finally does score. But Auburn's defense has fought their guts out.
No, they have.
But this just looks like one of those times where, Taylon Green can make just enough plays and win a 28-27 type game. The way Auburn is just giving stuff away. Ugh.
So Auburn right now sits at overall. They're 3-4. Overall,
yes, four losses in a row.
4 losses in a row, but you have Arkansas, Kentucky. Both are winnable ball games.
Yes.
That would get you to 5 wins, right?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's going to be tough. Vanderbilt's really, really good. So that's a possibility. Okay, then that's 6 wins. You should be able to beat Mercer. That gets you to 6 wins, right? So if you win either Vanderbilt or Alabama, that could get you to 7 wins. At the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the season, we said this Auburn team is probably a 7 or 8 win team, right?
I said 8 with the possibility if everything went perfect, 9. And
right. They still can get 8. 8 is still not – you still can get 8 wins. You got to win them all, and that means you got to pull 2 upsets. You got to pull Vanderbilt, and you got to pull Alabama out of the hat.
Well, hell, I'm not sure by the end of the week they won't be an underdog, at Arkansas. So we'll see.
But I'm just saying that everything that we thought about Auburn is still there. They still can get 7 or 8 wins. As bad as they've been, they can still get there. Maybe that's why they have yet to decide to move on from Hugh Freeze. I'm just saying, maybe that's it. I don't know. All right, we got some phone calls. Let's get a break in. When we come back, let's go out to the phone lines. 256-576-4977, Talking Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen. Expect to see plenty of sunshine for this Monday with high temperatures warming into the low 70s for the afternoon. No rain in the forecast. Heading into our Monday night, we'll see sunshine transition to a clear sky. Low temperatures fall into the upper 40s, low 50s for the overnight.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points. Live heartfully. Live Stella.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-Sparky.
Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. Are those new school clothes wearing out that old washer and dryer? Well, it's time to get off the bus at Owen Home Appliance Center and learn what a new Speed Queen washer can do for you. They're in stock and are ready for delivery now. At Owen Home Appliance Center, quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's right there in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center. 2 locations to serve you, Highway 36 in Somerville and the interactive location at Highway 231 in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river.
This is your home for Alabama football.
Jam Miller, the running back, will get the handoff. He'll stay on his feet. He'll turn it up. He'll go down the sideline.
10-5, touchdown, Alabama. Jam Miller, icing on the cake.
This is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
They beat us every damn year. It's been a minute since we pulled out a win. I loaded the truck down with beer. Drove down to watch them do it again. And they did, so we went to the bar.
Oh, 256-576-4977. There's a lot of teams, though, really, you could throw that into the equation for. Talking Ball live from Bill Penny Toyota Service Department, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. They can service your vehicles, and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let's go out to the phone lines on our Good, the Bad, the Ugly Monday. Good morning, Pat.
Morning, Pat.
Good morning, guys. Morning. Talk about first off, at Pierre. Wow, what a coming out party! They finally got some pass rush. Man, that I think that helped that defensive backfield with Pierre putting so much pressure on the QB. What do you guys think?
Well, no question. I mean, they've talked about Alabama not really having, a natural pass rush and not having enough of it, but certainly LT Overton had a big game against Mizzou, and then and I thought Yanze was getting close, and he really had a breakout. Hopefully, that'll be a great sign for the rest of the season. He needs to stay healthy. I know his cousin's Courtney Upshaw, so. And he told me after the game that Courtney was actually at the game, and they got a chance to talk before, and hadn't talked yet after. But what a performance! He was disruptive, and don't forget, I mean, due to injuries to Quay Russaw and John Marion Latham, I mean, he was a third string guy that was playing situationally early, and now is having to expand his role big time. But he's become a big part of things, and certainly was able to affect Joey Aguilar, and that's a good thing because Joey's a good player and certainly bounced back and made some plays in the game. But those 3 sacks, and especially the one that caused the safety, were huge.
Yeah, hey, no one's talked more about Proctor, how horrible he's played than me. But now I got to give the big boy a silver star. The play where he bounced out to the outside and used his punch. Big men that can do that in the NFL get to make a lot of money. He put 2 guys on their butt with that punch. That was an absolutely outstanding play by a left tackle. What did you guys think?
Well, I think he's picked up his level. Certainly he struggled against Florida State, and the whole team did. But I think since that game, he's responded in kind and done a much better job. He's had a couple of rough moments, but his level of play has been much, much better. And I didn't see a whole lot of pressure from the left side on Saturday. I thought he did a good job there. And when you look at it, Tennessee, I don't think they had any sacks for their D-line. And Alabama did a good job protecting Ty Simpson. I said, they'd have to keep Ty Simpson clean, because that would be a big part of the game. Because Tennessee, that's what they do. They pressure you and they force turnovers. And Alabama did have 1 turnover, and it was weird. At the time when it happened, I still thought he had thrown the ball.
That was Ty Simpson.
And it went forward. At least after I saw the replay, when it first happened, I thought, because he was being pressured from behind, and I thought, maybe the defender got a piece of the ball as he was following through. But then you're like, no, that didn't happen. But I mean, I'll say this: Ty must have thought it was a fumble because he certainly pursued it like he did, and he almost recovered it. But it ended up being a turnover. Yet Alabama did respond and stop Tennessee. But yeah, I mean, other than that, though, I thought Ty played a really solid game. It was just kind of a freak thing, and that 99-yard drive was a thing of beauty, and basically, was I thought the catalyst to put Tennessee away.
Oh yeah, and then but the biggest thing was, and then the other thing is Ryan Williams' reemergence. Wow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hey, he showed why he's paid the big bucks. That was a thing of beauty, and was happy to see it. And hey, there was one play where we had a long pass that if it had been Ryan Williams catching that ball down close to that sideline, I think he would have put his foot in the dirt, and it would have kept on going. Wow. I mean, just the entire game. I didn't have any. I was calling about the good, bad, and ugly. Only thing I saw was a few drops. There was some lasers tied through, some absolute lasers. The velocity. We went back and watched one of them. Where we could be able to roll the game back and look at it. He threw one of those balls that, I mean, hey, it looked like a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. I mean, he was humming it. And the spin on Ty's football is absolutely amazing. Hey, he's not the absolute biggest, but I think he's big enough. And because you go back to, there's a lot of players in the NFL that have been in that 6 foot range, and Ty's closer to 6'2". And I look forward to him getting to keep on shining. What do you guys think?
Well, no, he's the best quarterback in the SEC right now, one of the best in college football. He certainly has earned that due to his level of play, and certainly, it was another chapter on Saturday. They've got to stay focused and take care of Lenora Sellers in South Carolina on Saturday, and Lenoris is, kind of a one-man band this year. He doesn't have the supporting cast that he had a year ago, offensively or defensively, and especially along the lines of scrimmage, but he's capable, and you have to contain him. You've got to do a good job of tackling him and making South Carolina earn every yard, stop the run first and foremost, put the game on his back.
And then South Carolina's going through a lot, off the field as well. Remember they fired their tight end coach before going into past Saturday's game. After the game, Shane Beamer getting hammered again by questions about Mike Shula being the offensive coordinator. So there's a lot of unrest right now there with South Carolina.
Yeah, and this is what I was afraid of going into the season, and they lost a lot of great personnel that are playing on Sundays. And so, but again, Alabama's had 4 emotional games in a row. You're trying to you run this 5-game gauntlet before you get to the bye and get ready for LSU. And so, but we'll see. But certainly, with Alabama, certainly I thought, Pat pointed out Ryan Williams. We'd already talked about him, but Ryan was definitely part of the good. Ty Simpson, what he was able to do. Daniel Hill, who I thought really stepped up again in the second half, because, if you want to say, a bad for me, I mean, the bad was the one turnover.
Right.
You can't turn the football over, but luckily the defense responded and nothing, came out of it, certainly. And then once again, I thought both halves, they started slowly offensively, which wasn't good. That's bad. The ugly was the first 2.5 quarters of running the football.
Yeah, are you happy with the way Alabama? They had 120 yards total of rushing. They averaged 3.8 yards per carry for the game.
Well, here's what I was going to say. It was ugly going into that 99-yard drive, Scott. I looked at the stats. I think Tennessee was averaging about 5 yards a carry because Deshaun Bishop had started going off. Alabama was averaging 1.5 per attempt in the game, but then here comes the 99-yard drive, then Daniel Hill's emergence.
Right.
And I got to give the coaching staff credit, and this is part of the good. Ryan Grubb, look, if it's not working, Jam Miller was coming off of the injury at the end of the Missouri game, didn't practice a lot. He was ineffective. Okay, they shut Jam Miller down. The little bit we saw of Kevin Riley, they shut him down too. Well, guess what Alabama started doing? And some of it was unconventional. Some of it was just a guy making a play, but they got the ball to Jeremy Bernard. And we're using him as a runner because basically here's what Jeremy Bernard is, man. One of my favorite players of all time, both for what he did at South Carolina and what he's done in the NFL with the 49ers and now the Commanders, is Deebo Samuel. And that's what Jeremy Bernard is. He can play running back. He can play wide receiver. And they tried to do a throwback trick play. To Tennessee's credit, they blew it to Kingdom Come. But to Jeremy's credit,
he found a way through. Yes,
turned a 10-yard loss to an 18-yard gain. It was about a 30-yard play, but he gained 18 yards. And then he ran the ball effectively. And then they brought Daniel Hill in. And Daniel Hill, as you know, Scott, we talked about him stepping up last week and having a big touchdown catch against Missouri and having some big runs in the second half. He did it again. And so that 120 yards that Alabama got, when you go into context, and we just said it. You said Alabama averaged 3.8.
Yes.
But hell, in the middle of the third quarter, they're actually 1.5. So think about how it flipped. And so I got to give Alabama's coaching staff credit for the adjustments that they made, and Daniel Hill and Germ for being 2 other guys that I thought were part of the good that really stepped up.
All right, let's get Brandon in real fast before the break. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
So the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good was watching that fat Tennessee fan that was screaming and mad that we sang Dixieland Delight get dragged out after they threw her down. She really threw herself down the stairs, and they
How
dragged her
drunk
out
was
there.
she?
She was trashed. I tagged you in the Twitter video. She was done for.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, her husband.
I figured she had some moonshine or something.
He was like, "No, you on your own on this one, honey. That's all I can do." The bad is we don't know what a forward pass is. I realized Ty's hand got hit. That ball went straight and over the line of scrimmage, and I don't care who threw that ball. That was considered a forward pass. Yeah, they got part of his hand, but if the line of the ball has a straight trajectory and it goes over the line of scrimmage, how is that not a pass? How is that not your total litmus test for whether something is a forward pass or not?
It was hard to tell, man. The only thing I could say is Ty thought there was a good chance it was a fumble because he was pursuing it like it was, man.
I mean, if somebody's hand, though, comes from behind it, though, too, and hits it, and the ball goes on that trajectory.
But nobody hit it. That's the thing. And that's what I thought happened.
Right.
I thought maybe they had stripped it from behind, but it just didn't. It was a weird play.
And the ugly would be my buddy Brandon Wood tripping and falling in our pool with my birthday cake. But,
oh, my God.
Yeah. So we had to go buy one of the little 10-inch cakes after that because the birthday cake got denied into the pool. So,
well,
and that
happy birthday, man. I mean, I hate that. Wow.
It's pretty good stuff. It helps if you turn the lights on outside where people can see. Amazing how that works. If you turn lights on, they don't walk in and fall into a pool.
Well, I mean, I guess there's worse places for a cake to fall in than a pool. I mean, I know you have to clean the pool, but
that would be nasty.
Yeah.
And I really hope 2 weeks ago, SEC Shorts killed it.
Oh yeah, I had to see. Yeah.
Then last week was a little down.
Yeah.
I really hope they kill it this week. If they can't kill it after this week of football, back to the drawing board. But as Brooks Austin said, you ain't an SEC fan until you have prayed to God and sweated your what's off, hoping to beat Kentucky at home.
Oh yeah. By the way, all right, Brandon, thanks for that phone call. And he mentions Kentucky. We got to get a break in.
Lose that game.
That's a great tease right there. How do you lose it? We'll explain it all when we return. This to go the bad, the ugly on a Monday of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. Due to popular demand, this offer is extended through September 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, When you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Oh, my exes live in Texas.
Well, I know. But
Well, by the way, Texas, you can say that Texas is lucky to be leaving Lexington.
Well, they're lucky they're not out of the playoff race already.
I mean, with Coast. So here you go. Texas, by the way, beats Kentucky. Okay,
Right.
Kentucky for the game. This is not a misprint.
Yeah.
Outgained the Longhorns 395 to 176 in yards. Recorded 18 more first downs, 26 to 8. Texas had 8 first downs as a whole and still somehow found a way to beat Kentucky 16 to 13.
How? I mean, I saw the field goal in the press box where they took the lead late, but then
in overtime, this one goes to overtime. By the way,
I'm sorry, overtime, but I mean, because again, we were focusing on Alabama and Tennessee, and we'd focused on Ole Miss and Georgia, which we haven't even brought up yet, but we will, and that ended up being a shootout. Wild Turkey's defense, wasn't anywhere to be found. And
by the way, the reason why we're kind of getting to everything a little different is, folks, we're on until 10 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, we are.
So we're doing an extra hour of the show. The Blitz is off today, so we're taking an hour of it. So, yes, you can enjoy us till 10 a.m. this morning. So, yes, continue.
But no, and we were following the Texas game, and I was getting messages, Kentucky, not really knowing what's going on. And I'll be the first to say I didn't get the chance to see any of that game except for a couple of highlights. But then I did look at the stats, and I'm just like, how in blue hell did Kentucky lose the game? I mean, their young quarterback played well, and they threw the football effectively. And that's a lot for Kentucky because they usually don't.
Right.
And I wouldn't have thought they'd have done it against Texas defense. I just and we know Texas offensive lines had issues, and and Arch is a work in progress. But good Lord, how do you lose when you outgain them like that? You would have thought Kentucky would have won by double figures.
I mean, when you have 26 first downs and you hold your opponent to 8 first downs. And
they did
but you got to give Texas credit, though, because obviously they didn't break a lot and give up a lot of points.
Well, they been but didn't break, and Kentucky had, I think, a first and goal at the 4 and could have won the game. And being Kentucky, they couldn't score when they absolutely had to. So, just horrible. It would have been a huge win for Coach Stoops, and man. Just brutal. And the John Summerall watch continues.
Well, and speaking of lucky, our boy John, our good friend John Summerall got lucky on Saturday. Did you see how that game ended?
I did not.
Oh, my goodness.
I did not see it.
Oh, my goodness. Probably one of the plays of the year in college football.
Right.
Tulane needed a touchdown late, and the ball is thrown to the end zone, tipped by the defender, tipped by the receiver. Ball's floating into the air. The receiver turns around.
Now, this was Thursday against East Carolina, by the way.
No, this Saturday was Army.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
they played Army on Saturday.
The week before they played on Thursday. I apologize.
Yes, they played Army on Saturday.
Yeah,
and
Tulane,
Army did everything that they should have
to stay in the
could
game.
have to win the game.
Yeah.
Army was dominating that game against Tulane on Saturday.
Right.
And really should have won that ball game. But John Summerall's team found a way late to come away with a win.
Yeah.
And boy, they got lucky. Did Tulane and John Summerall. All right.
I'll tell you who didn't get lucky. I got to give a credit. Speaking of the American Athletic Conference, is like, wow. You got to give a lot of credit to UAB.
Oh my goodness, that's
Alex
the big
Mortensen.
one.
And we're going to talk to Tony Sakalas in our bonus third hour today because Tony's covering UAB for AL.com. And Alex Mortensen, interim coach, guy that was with Nick Saban 3 times in Tuscaloosa, very well respected by everyone within the building at Alabama. And we all know he's Chris Mortensen, the late Chris Mortensen, who is one of the greatest insiders and reporters of all time. I mean, that's back when ESPN was legit. And from the standpoint, right now, a lot of their analysts leave a lot to be desired,
right.
Insiders. And Adam Schefter certainly has taken the insider torch from Mort. But, Mort was an original. He and Mel Kiper, to me, have always made the NFL draft much-watched television. And we know, of course, Mort had cancer, and we lost him a couple years ago. But I know he always wanted to see his son be a head coach. And now Alex has got a chance at UAB. And, man, what a first chapter because
they host Memphis.
Memphis already beat Arkansas, and everybody's talking about Memphis being maybe the front runner to be the group of 6 representative in the playoff. Ryan
came in
Silverfield,
ranked.
Being mentioned for all these jobs, and UAB really controlled the game from now to give Memphis credit, they fought back and had a chance. Even had a touchdown overturned where it looked like it might end up going to overtime, but Memphis holds on to win 31-24. Or excuse me, UAB holds on to win 31-24 over Memphis.
Yeah.
And to shock college football. And I'm going to be honest. You look at UAB's remaining schedule; they got some difficult tests out there. But if Mort could get to 6 wins, he'd probably have a chance to be the head coach. But it just goes to show you, once they got rid of Trent Dilfer, there was a big difference. And Mort, now it might just be a 1-week thing. We'll see. But certainly,
even if it's just a 1-week
you got to
thing,
give UAB a lot of credit for a 31-24 win over a really, really good Memphis ball club.
And even if it's just a 1-week thing, UAB did not look good, did not play passionate, did not play with enthusiasm in a lot of those games with Trent Dilfer. And they look like a completely different ball club, even if it was just for 1 week. They looked like a completely different ball club on Saturday at home.
And then it cost Memphis a chance to host College Game Day because they were going to be hosting Tulane, and they still will. Now the game day is going to Vanderbilt.
How about that? For the second time ever, they're going to be in Nashville for Vanderbilt,
Missouri. So but it's still a big game for both Memphis and Tulane, especially John Summerall. Their only loss is to a ranked Ole Miss team. Tulane needs to win this game to stay in the mix to be the group of 6 representative. Yeah. And Memphis, if they were to be able to beat the Green Wave, they would still be in the conversation as well.
All right. Brian Matthews has got to join us at the top of the hour. We'll break down more of this Auburn disaster against Missouri. What lies ahead for Auburn going forward? What lies ahead for Hugh Freeze? A lot of things on the table for Brian Matthews next.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
All right, Scott.
Hour 2 is upon us. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. 256-881-5151 to experience the SportsMed difference. Don't forget, Talking Ball this morning. You're going to get an extra hour of us, as we were going to take you till 10 o'clock this morning. So it's another 2 hours left of Talking Ball here on a Monday morning with Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, live from the Bill Penny Toyota Service Department. Plenty of stuff to go on.
Yeah, and I want to apologize for the brutality of that last end of the segment, because I was butchering the American College. Now, again, UAB did win 31-24 over Memphis. Huge win for Mort. Should be, I think, the coach of the week. But what a great job. And they still do have a chance with their schedule, the way it sets up, to potentially get to 6 wins and give him a chance, to potentially get the job. But and then, like Scott said, Tulane did beat Army in dramatic fashion with an unbelievable catch, 24-17 to win that game. But the game day was going to go to Memphis. They're going to Vanderbilt for the game, their matchup against Missouri. But very likely they would have been at Memphis, and Memphis was taking on Alex Golish in South Florida. Of course, we know South Florida has the win over Florida. They're still ranked 18th. Their only loss to Miami, who, of course, choked on Friday against Louisville. But, again, it's going to be South Florida. Tulane off this week. John Summerall and the Green Wave return to the ESPN airwaves on Thursday to take on UTSA on the road a week from this Thursday. But, again, the Green Wave still in the mix for that group of 6 bid into the playoff. Memphis is still alive despite the loss to UAB if they could beat South Florida. And then South Florida is deep in the conversation also. And Alex Golish, John Summerall, all 3 of those coaches, Ryan Silverfield, are all going to be on lists for all these openings. And we got to figure out now with our next guest, who's joining us via our video Zoom, is Auburn going to be one of those jobs that opens? We don't know yet, but after this weekend, it certainly is getting bleaker for Hugh Freeze in year 3. Just another unbelievable turn of events for the Auburn Tigers, and another gut-wrenching loss in Jordan-Hare Stadium. And we're going to talk about that and more with Brian Matthews, since 2001, covering the Auburn Tigers with AuburnSports.com, part of Rivals and On3. Brian, good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing good.
I'm still fighting the cigarette or the cigars and stuff. Ugh. I mean, from it was being leaked into the press box, man. I'm still struggling and coughing and stuff. But I got to tell you, I was following the end of the Auburn game in the press room, and I can't even come up with.
Brian, we're baffled at the stat that you put out there, that 15 plays, 1 yard.
How
is that possible?
I mean, I just don't get.
Yeah, yeah, that's wild. And that was the 75-yard TD drive. They had the 46-yard pass the rest of the half, 1 yard on 15 plays. But that's been Auburn's offense all season, right? I got another crazy stat for you. Auburn had 2 explosive plays, which has been unlike them all season, right?
Yeah.
46-yard pass to Cam Coleman at the
Yeah.
end of the second quarter, 41-yard run by Jeremiah Cobb there early in the third quarter. Both those explosive plays resulted in 0 points.
Oh,
The next 6 plays after those explosive plays, -2 yards on 6 plays combined. And, plays like that are momentum changers, right? You get a big play
Yeah.
like that, and teams can fall apart, and you strike quickly, and Auburn's offense cannot do that. They don't have an identity. They don't have anything they can fall back on when they do manage to break a big play. So, yeah, it's the offense, again, let Auburn down. Defense did plenty enough to win again. And the crowd, I'm telling you, that was a fantastic crowd at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Unbelievable atmosphere. I spent a good portion of the fourth quarter and all of overtime on the field, and I was so impressed with how much Auburn, fans and students and alumni supported that team.
Well, Brian, you bring up these offensive disasters and everything, but the common denominator again is Auburn's behind the chains lots of times because Jackson Arnold holding on to the football too long.
Yes, that continues to be a huge problem for Auburn and Jackson Arnold. I think they gave up, is it 5 sacks? I believe against Missouri. Again, one of the worst teams in the country as far as sacks allowed. Maybe the worst. I haven't looked at the stats this morning. Yeah, I don't understand why they keep putting out a guy that keeps doing the same thing over and over and can't really run an effective offense at this level against good, decent SEC teams. It just boggles the mind that they keep doing it over and over again. And it sort of sounds like they're going to do it again at Arkansas. This program has a lot of problems, but it's not really Jackson Arnold's fault that he was the guy that Hugh Freeze handpicked to run this offense and that he keeps throwing him out there, right? This is on Hugh Freeze.
yeah. I mean, and you talked about it in your column last week that Hugh Freeze needed to fire himself and let somebody else take over the play calling and the offense.
Yeah, and he should have done that before. He still needs to do it. It continues to be a huge problem with this team. He just blew it. You look at you can look at it from a business standpoint, right? You got
Right.
around an $18 million budget for a football program, revenue sharing about, not exactly. Auburn's probably invested 6 or 7 million into the wide receiver, quarterback rooms, and 2 offensive tackles out of the portal. So
Yeah.
you're investing about a third or more than a third of your revenue sharing into that part of your offense, and you have the worst passing offense in the SEC and one of the worst passing offenses in the country. That and
So
if
Saturday,
that was a business, right? Everybody be fired and you start over, and that's
Yep.
That's where we're headed. It sure feels like.
well, you bring up the fired talk. Hugh Freeze asked Saturday after the
Yeah.
game, and he went on to say, in quote, and we played a lot of that this morning for the listeners, that hey, this team is close, we're close. But he said, Auburn fans they're tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of saying it, how close we are. I mean, how close do you think John Cohen is to saying, because he came out last week and said that he talked about his comparative to a car, and not being able to start and everything else like that.
Yeah.
I mean, is the car not starting and is he going to have to trade it in?
I don't think anything's happening this week. I think we passed that point of no return for that. We'll have a press conference with Freeze here in about 5 more hours. But I mean, I do think it's very, very close to something happening. There. I don't know exactly what the holdup is or what the advantage is to waiting or doing it now. Since the portal has been moved to January 2nd or whatever it is, 3rd. I don't think that coaching being fired window matters anymore. It's just a matter of doing it and getting in line, with the other schools that have already made that move. But The other thing, I think Cohen is savvy enough, whereas the previous AD at Auburn was not. If he is going to fire Freeze, and I do think that's going to happen here eventually, but unless there's some miracle comeback. If he does, I think he's going to have a better idea of what Auburn's going to do next. I don't think he's going to go in there just hands in the air, trying to figure it out as they go along. I think he's more inclined to have a more specific plan.
Did Cohen didn't hire Freeze, did he?
No,
he was the AD when Freeze was
okay,
hired.
go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry. I should have let you talk, but you're the one that covered it. But I was thinking that was already been kind of decently far along when John Cohen got the AD's job. But go ahead and
No, I think that's absolutely correct there. So, it came under his watch. He was the guy, but I think there were other factors involved with that hire, and a lot of that a good portion of it had already taken place, during that process of him being hired. So I don't think that'll be the case. I think this will be mostly his hire. We know how these things work. There's not just one dude usually, unless he's acquired a lot of power and has been ultra successful in previous hires. It's usually a matter of if it's going to be Cohen, he's got to convince guys of who he wants, or the other way around. So there'll be some give and take.
Well, I mean, there obviously still was some bright spots. I mean, it was easily, I think, Perry Thompson's best game of his career.
It was. Perry has stepped up with Horatio Fields, injured, and really played good. 4 catches, I think it was 60 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Made some nice plays. You could see that Auburn had designed some big plays, and potentially bigger plays, in this game plan for Missouri, and some of them worked, and they were able to get the ball to Cam Coleman and Perry Thompson with those opportunities to make those plays. So, yeah, it's really good to see. You worry about kids who are in their second year, especially highly recruited ones, and aren't really putting up numbers or contributing. And that was a worry about Perry a few weeks ago, but now he's definitely stepped up, and it's definitely making plays.
Brian, we talked about this in hour number 1 on the show. If they decide to stay with Hugh Freeze and somehow they manage to pull off an upset win over Vanderbilt or possibly Alabama down the stretch, this team still can win 8 football games at the most. And going into the season, we thought 7 or 8 would be what this Auburn team, what the ceiling would be, right?
I mean, the ceiling, I think it was more like the very floor was 7, and I think people who were getting excited about having the third year and having all these options on offense were thinking 8 or 9. Who knows? And yeah, technically that is still available for them. You're right. I just, boy oh boy, I don't see it.
It looks different, though. It looks different, and it looks hard to get to that number because of the inability that they've shown on offense.
It really is. That's the big issue. I mean, you talk about going to Arkansas this weekend, and as good as Auburn's defense is playing, you sure feel like Arkansas is going to be able to score points. And Auburn struggles to get to 20 points offensively against any SEC defense right now. So I would say that's a big, big concern. I credit the coaching staff. This team is still playing hard. This team is still invested. They still care. They're getting good leadership. Those things are happening. This is not 2012 where they're getting blown out on the sidelines and the players are joking around. I'm back there just flabbergasted that this is happening at Auburn. It's not the same thing at all. So yes, when you have that, maybe they can win a game, and maybe they can gain some confidence and start, producing those critical moments. But boy, oh boy, the way this offense is, you just it's hard to really imagine that or see that right now or have that vision to see that happening.
With, one of the stories of last week was that Hugh Freeze said he was going to ride it out with Jackson Arnold. Do you think that is still going to be the case headed to Arkansas, or is there, a possibility that they could should Arnold struggle yet again, give Deuce Knight or the young man from Stanford, the transfer, a shot to play.
Well, here's the thing. I think he's been going into games, with that possibility.
Right.
And then, they script plays. They have the offense, with little surprises, and it looks good early, right? And then the same thing happens as defenses adjust, as they find ways to pressure Jackson and force him to make, the second and third decision. The offense, in many ways, falls to pieces. And, they just cannot move the ball, or if they do, they go immediately backwards on the next series. So it just repeats itself. So I don't know if he's capable of making that decision. He seems incapable right now of making many decisions on offense that will take him out of the mix or take his handpicked quarterback out of the mix right now. I think that's an ego problem, and I'm not sure that he is capable of changing that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Brian, we've talked a lot of the downside, a lot of the negatives with this Auburn football team. You mentioned playing hard.
Yeah.
I tell you what, this Auburn defense, if this offense would be clicking at high cylinders, we'd be talking about one of the best we should be talking about one of the best defense
units. Missouri to 90 yards rushing.
Yes, in the country right now, not just in the SEC. This Auburn defense is playing lights out.
Yep, leading rusher Ahmad Hardy, 58 yards on 24 carries. Just over 2 yards a carry. They played great, and they played really, really hard. And I'm trying to think how many plays Missouri ran. It was over 80. So they were getting tired there at the end and still out there competing. I can't say enough about the job that DJ Durkin has done. It just seems like Auburn has done a great job of hiring defensive coordinators who do everything right on that side of the ball. That they recruit, they develop depth, they coach them up good, they play hard for them, and DJ Durkin has just stepped into that role again for Auburn, and it's two sides of a coin, right? DJ Durkin's side is performing at a very high level in all facets, and the offense under Hugh Freeze is doing the opposite in many ways, and it is a shame because I don't think you can use the talent level excuse anymore. Auburn's got that on both sides of the ball, and you can see the fruits of that with Durkin, and you can see how other things matter. Just not maybe as much, but close to as much on the other side of the ball.
Well, and I got to tell you, Brian, too. It's we talked about this before you came on in hour one. It's like plugging a hole in a boat and then another one springs. Yeah. But and we've been following his journey, but. Alex McPherson, probably the worst game of his career at Auburn at the worst possible time, because if you make those kicks, it's just kind of like when Alabama had to make some kicks against Vandy to pull away and win a tight game. Once again, the kicking game just was basically just came apart for Auburn.
Yeah, it makes you sick for him. I mean, he missed the.
Yeah, it really does.
It really does, because you want him to succeed. I think everybody, no matter what team you pull for, wants Alex McPherson to have success. And and this is a kid I know I mentioned on your show before, I believe, but last year, when he was down to 130 pounds or whatever, and you're worried about, is he going to make it really? He is out there during warm-ups, going through warm-ups with his team just because he loves it so much, right? That tells you all you need to know about this kid. And he missed the 40-yarder and the 38-yarder just barely, right? They weren't like major whiffs, right? They were right there. And then on the 50-yarder, I don't know what happened. We saw him booming those pretty good in practice and in pregame.
Yeah,
and it was just well short. I was there on the field, and it fell. It landed in the end zone. So I don't know what happened on that one, but I feel terrible for the young man, and hope that he's not putting it too much on himself. That's just tough.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I picked Missouri last week just simply because I just didn't trust Auburn.
Yeah, me too.
Experience in Arkansas is weird. Now, our Auburn has actually played really well lately in Fayetteville. Yeah. So, and I remember when Bo Nix lit them up when a lot of people thought Auburn were going to win that game. So, and we know that Arkansas is not very good on defense, but they can score. your initial thoughts on the matchup in Fayetteville, but they seem to be playing harder for Petrino for sure.
They do, and it's just hard for me to pick Auburn right now. It just is. Yeah, they keep finding ways to lose. This offense is really, really bad, and they keep going back to the same thing over and over again. And I think the players are just like we are. They see what's happening. They're not dumb.
Yeah.
So I just think it's hard to to keep offensively, to keep these players engaged and fully invested when you keep running the same players out there that keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And I don't want to, keep beating up on Jackson Arnold. It's not his fault. It's the head coach's fault. He brought him here. He's coached him up. He keeps putting him out there in positions where he cannot succeed.
Well,
wow. I mean, it's a lot to unpack, Brian. A lot to unpack, and it's I don't know. It's
just wasting a really good defense.
No,
so
that's my point. When talking about the defense, it's just you're wasting it.
Yep, you really are, and this ain't the first time Auburn's done that. Unfortunately.
Well, and then Brian, though, too, I guess in today's we mentioned about wasting a defense, but you look at this defense and you might think, well, it's just loaded and playing a lot of veteran guys. But you look at this defense, they're playing with a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores out there on the field getting a lot of minutes. And so if Auburn does ultimately make a change, you hope that they spend money to keep a lot of these defensive guys from going into the portal.
They'll have to. And they are playing a bunch of young players, and they're playing really well. Xavier Atkins, a sophomore, he's become one of the best linebackers in the country, or at least in the SEC for sure. I'm not overstating that. He had 11 tackles, a couple sacks. I mean, he was incredible. I thought in that game. Caleb Harris, another sophomore who's started since halfway through his freshman year, playing a ton of snaps and minutes out there. Elijah Melendez, a freshman linebacker, true freshman, playing a ton. You saw Amars Williams finally healthy, making plays, big plays during key moments of that game. There at defensive end, subbing in for Keldrick Falk, or sometimes you'll see both of them together on the field. And Keldrick's playing his tail off too, and fighting so hard. And you know how disappointed he is. As much as he's put in, as much as he's put on his shoulders being a team leader. So it's really disappointing. Kieron Crawford's one of the best stories, I think, in the SEC.
Oh yeah,
one tackle for loss all of last year, and now he's one of the best pass rushers in the SEC this season, and that's all from his hard work and dedication and just every ounce of energy he put in the offseason trying to improve himself. And it's all it's not all for nothing, right? Because these kids, they're getting noticed by scouts, and they're going to have opportunities on the next level, but still, that's not what they want, is to win ball games, right, and compete for championships, and that's not happening because of the offense.
Well, and we barely mentioned Keldrick Falk, and we know how good he is. So that just showed you how good this Auburn defense is playing. Well, Brian, we appreciate the time. Let everybody know how to follow your coverage. I know you said you guys are going to speak to Hugh Freeze in a few hours, so he's still going to be the head football coach, but just let everybody know how to follow you.
Yeah, we will have live updates from his press conference. Plenty of stories following it. I've got my Monday musings I'm about to put up here as soon as we get off the air, and we'll be rolling out lots of coverage throughout the day and throughout the week. auburnsports.com. Follow me on Twitter/X at BMattAU.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you guys. Y'all take care.
All right, Brian Matthews, kind enough to spend a lot of time with us there.
Yeah, we're a little bit extended, but it's just a lot to unpack at Auburn.
Well, it's just
with everything going wrong, and then, like we said, wasting a great defense so far that has just been spectacular and been more than good enough to win every game.
Just think about this: if their offense could average at least 25 points a game, 25, they would be different. Things would be totally different.
It's mostly the issue really is the quarterback, and then Hugh Freeze just not wanting to run the ball enough, in my opinion,
right.
and take advantage. At least if you're going to play said QB, let him run the football. But of course teams are trying to take that away. But but there is still the issue, and you talked about it earlier. You've got to pull the trigger. And you've got to throw the ball and let it go. And for whatever reason, for two straight years, both at Oklahoma and now at Auburn, that's been a huge issue for Jackson. And yet Oklahoma benched him and Auburn will not. And that could be the undoing for Hugh Freeze.
But you can also even go back further when, the quarterback before, and he's escaping my mind.
Well, you talking about Peyton Thorne.
Peyton Thorne was kind of similar to the same thing. Peyton Thorne was holding the ball too long and reading the wrong routes.
Thorne's biggest issue was the turnovers. It wasn't as much holding on to it too long. He was turning it over at a very high rate. Interceptions at bad times, fumbles. But now with Jackson Arnold, it's been more – because they've been making a big deal about him not turning it over, but he's also not
complete opposite, I guess. Yes.
He's not pulling the trigger, and that's an issue. And to me, Ashton Daniels or Deuce Knight deserve a look, because sometimes if you put a new guy in there, it's a spark. They need some sort of spark, and Jason Caldwell was talking about that yesterday.
Let's get a break in. Got to get one in real fast. When we come back, phone lines are open to you for a short minute. 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Sure, Valley Equipment Rental takes care of the homeowner and his needs, but how about the pros out there? Well, Valley Equipment has the big stuff as well. The equipment you need to get any job done. I'm talking about the big track hoe excavators, from the 30,000-pound mid-size one to the big boy 50,000-pound units. Need a dozer on the job? Well, they've got them up to 105 horsepower, and that's a good-sized machine. Plus, Valley Equipment has more lifts than anyone around. Up to 80-foot booms that reach 56 feet with a 10,000-pound capacity. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Check them out today.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
If 0 down on a new Ford sounds good, you need to swing by Jordan and Sparkman before October 31st. Hello, I'm Don Wessels with Woody Anderson Ford. Right now, Woody Anderson Ford has some strong $399 and $499 leases that come with 0 down and 2 years of premium complimentary maintenance too. Choose a 2025 F-150 STX Crew Cab with the 2.7-liter for $499 a month. A new F-150 less than $500 a month. Or choose its electric brother, the F-150 Lightning, for just $399 a month. Woody Anderson Ford also has 2025 Broncos and Explorers for $499 a month and Bronco Sports and Escapes for only $399 a month. And remember, These leases are 0 down and come with 2 years of complimentary maintenance. 36-month leases with 0 down. First payment due at signing, no security deposit. Plus tax, title tag, fees, and your good credit. Offers end October 31st. Now is the time for a Woody Anderson Ford. Come on in. We can't wait to see you.
The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
All right, 8:29. Really very, very short segment here. Just a couple quick thoughts here. Tony Sakalis, Rodney Orr still yet to join us. Rodney Orr here in a couple minutes because we got to recap more on Alabama's win against Tennessee. And you look at the SEC standings after Saturday's game, Drew. Texas A&M, Alabama, both still undefeated in SEC play. Texas A&M undefeated as a whole, 7-0. Alabama 6-1, Alabama 4-0. But behind that, Georgia, Ole Miss, Missouri, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Texas, all with just one loss in the SEC column. LSU, Tennessee, Florida with 2 losses, and then South Carolina, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Auburn, Kentucky are all below that. But still, you look at Alabama, they've put themselves in position with this 6-game win streak after that loss to Florida State. They've done a lot of things good, improved in a lot of areas.
Yeah, they've played tough, good football, complimentary football. You know, it hasn't always been a Picasso offensively and defensively, but they find ways to make adjustments, and that's big. Both, I criticized the adjustments early in the season and even from last year, but they have made defensive adjustments in the second halves of 2 of the last 3 games. It was more in the previous 2 when they, when they were able to beat Missouri. And Missouri's a good football team. I think we all figured that out when they were able to beat the Vanderbilt Commodores. It was a struggle to beat Georgia, but Georgia is a really good, tough football team, and they the offense basically led the way there, and their great start was the key to that road win.
Yeah.
And then, like I said Saturday against Tennessee, the defense played. You mentioned it to the listeners. Played well, held them to 7 in the first half. Now Tennessee made some adjustments, moved the ball in the second half, but when Alabama had to offensively, and again, this team is led by its offense and its quarterback.
Yes.
Those are the guys that came through and were able to have a 99-yard drive and really just put Tennessee away in the second half and get a solid 37-20 win. Sustaining
drives is something as Alabama offense has been able to do. Not only are they sustaining drives,
right,
they're ending them in touchdowns, which is what you want. I mean, that there allows you to take a little bit more risk defensively. You can play a little bit different defensively because you know your offense is going to do a lot when they have the ball. Let's get a break in because Rodney Orr is on the other side. We'll break down Alabama's win over Tennessee coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Travel accommodations for 97.7 ESPN The Zone provided by University Kia.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings?
If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings, in Hampton Cove and our latest location, now open in New Market on Winchester Road. Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings, in Hampton Cove and our latest location, now open in New Market on Winchester Road.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Welcome back in Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond on a Monday morning, 8:35. We're live from Bill Penny Toyota Service Department, just hanging out. They're open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. Don't forget, if you need a battery for your car, Toyota True Start batteries come with an 84-month warranty and a 24-month free replacement. So temperature's starting to change. You don't want to be left out in the cold with a dead battery. Alabama getting it done over Tennessee inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, Saban Field on Saturday. 4th straight win against a ranked opponent for Alabama, which is an impressive feat in itself because you look at
never been done in SEC history.
No, and when we say that, it's, you look at it, and a lot of it is too because back then you had the East and the West divisions, and lots of times you never really faced the gauntlet like you do now in the SEC with just straight 16 teams and you line it up, but still a feat nonetheless. Alabama getting it done, and they're getting it done in ways that has shown improvement in a lot of areas since that opening loss to Florida State.
Yeah, they're Alabama now 6-1, and another amazing stat. And this is by the SEC numbers guy. The top 17 teams in the country have a combined 14 losses. Alabama has accounted for 28.5% of those losses. It's pretty amazing. And then the teams that the Alabama has beaten in the last month, which is Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Tennessee, they are 23-1 against those opponents not named Alabama. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The Crimson Tide now up to 4th, really, in the national polls, and they've put themselves back in strong position to make a playoff run. And yet, there's no rest for the weary because you've got a tricky road trip to Columbia, South Carolina coming up. And we're going to talk about that and more with one of the best in the business. It's 1996. No one does it better than Rodney Orr, covering the Crimson Tide football and recruiting and the athletics at the capstone. And we're going to talk a little recruiting too, because there was some recruiting news that came out of the weekend. But first, we're going to talk about Alabama's 11th straight win in Tuscaloosa over Tennessee at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and the 17th out of 19. Rodney Orr, welcome back to the show. How are you this morning?
Doing well. Drew, Scott, how are you guys?
We're doing well. And your immediate impressions of Alabama's 37-20 win over Tennessee?
Yeah, well, kind of when you break down this game, I mean, Alabama, as Scott said, has been on in the middle of a gauntlet right now. I mean, it's pretty amazing where Alabama has come from, obviously, since August the 30th and that loss. Nobody really gave them a lot of chance to be where they are right now. So I think the first thing I would say is what an amazing job Kalen DeBoer did at that time to keep this team together. I mean, obviously, what we've seen over the last 6 weeks kind of coincides with what we heard before the season, and that was, hey, this team has great chemistry. You know, we feel really good about the talent we have, and all of these things. Because when you go through something like they went through with Florida State, you know that can wreck your season when the expectations are so high. So what? And then on top of that, you've got the gauntlet that we've talked about. We called it back then the daunting gauntlet that Alabama will face.
Right.
And, you know, they come back, they take the steps they have to take against ULM and Wisconsin, and then they go to Georgia. They win that game, incredible win. You know, beating Georgia at any point or any place is amazing, but to beat them there in their own place is almost impossible. We saw that this weekend with Ole Miss. So I think the confidence continued to grow and grow and grow. And now here, I mean, it's just been an amazing run right now where they are. But, Drury, what you said is very true. And we wrote about this. I wrote about this last night on Tighter Insider. Now's no time to celebrate because you're going into a game against a capable South Carolina team. Yeah,
right.
I understand they've lost 4 of their last 5. You know, Beamer's feeling some heat. They just let go their offensive line coach a week or so ago. You know, Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator, is under a lot of heat. So, but they are a talented team. They've got a really good quarterback, Lenore Sellers. You know, it could be a trap game. It could be a dangerous trap game. So we're going to find out more about really the maturity and the focus of this Alabama team right now.
And I think Alabama is showing us that the college football season is a long season,
especially the way it's set up now.
And this, yes, because we talked about this last week, Rodney, that, you know, we're over halfway through the season, but we still have 3 months before the national championship game. But the first game against Florida State, it's like, don't hit all of the panic buttons yet. Yes, there's areas for concern. Yes, you want to get better in certain areas. But Kalen DeBoer said, you know what? You just got to take it one game at a time. We've got to get better in certain areas. And if we do, we're going to be okay. And they have been. But it's like, okay, let's not overreact. And a lot of this is to your point, too. Let's not overreact after the loss to Florida State. If Alabama gets better, which they have, now you can't overreact to the Tennessee game because you still have to keep getting better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a lot that Kalen DeBoer learned about just the team, you know, in that first game and how they were, you know, kind of the direction that he needed to take in guiding this team and guiding the staff. And I think he learned a lot about that. And that's one of the strengths, I think, of Kalen DeBoer is he's really good about making adjustments to his style, to what, you know, is best for the team. And I think he's, you know, let's be honest. I mean, if you haven't been at Alabama, you haven't been around the program, it takes something to learn what it's all about and how things are done, how to best manage a situation. And I think Kalen DeBoer's done a really good job of growing into, you know, again, I'm not trying to, obviously he had a great track record and he was really good, but growing into this, to a fit, if you want to put it that way, for Alabama. And so I think right now they've done a good job, obviously done a fantastic job, because listen, what they have, we talk about the playoffs coming up. Basically, Alabama's going through a playoff stretch right now. I mean, that's what it's really been. When you're playing, and I know this sounds odd, Georgia, obviously, but it's odd to say Vanderbilt. But when you say Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee, I mean, that's a playoff run right there. And now you got South Carolina, who's a capable team. Then you have a bye week. Then you have LSU, who's a very capable team, even though they're underperforming. You've got Oklahoma, who has the best defense in the country, coming in here. And then you've got to go down to your arch rival at their place, you know, Auburn. So this is really, they're in the middle of a playoff run right now.
Yeah, you could say that. And they had to change their mindset after that debacle, as you called it. It was one against Florida State, because it's turned into a bad loss. Florida State's lost 4 in a row themselves. But Alabama, you know, they've been in a must-win mode, and they had to. And again, they've been able to find a way to win close games. I enjoyed watching the adjustments that the staff made, even in the Tennessee game, because They couldn't run the ball the first 2.5 quarters, Rodney. At one point, going into that 99-yard drive, I think they were averaging 1.5 yards per carry. But you got to give the coaching staff credit for using Jeremy Bernard in the running game. And then I thought Daniel Hill for the second straight game was a huge factor in stepping up in the second half.
Yeah, I thought he definitely was, and he was a guy that I think during the summer, the coaching staff really felt like Daniel Hill had a chance to take carries from Jam Miller. But he had this quad injury. It's been revealed now that it was a quad. We knew he was a little dinged up. But it's now he's kind of back to health, and we saw what he can do. I mean, he brings a lot of power, and he's got a little bit of a burst on the edge too, just enough to get him around that corner. And when he gets squared up at 245 pounds, he's a load. I mean, he delivers a blow, so he can wear on a defense. But here's the thing too, and we did see it against Missouri, the touchdown catch, but he is a really quality receiver.
Yes.
So I'm waiting to see him catch a few passes because I think he's going to really help them in that regard. But, just real quick, thinking about this game, Tennessee, we did in my Inside the Five preview, TiderInsider.com. I thought really the key was going to be which team could score touchdowns, which team could finish drives.
Yeah.
Alabama in those 3-game stretch against Georgia, Vanderbilt, and Missouri had to settle for 9 field goals. Mm-hmm. And Talkin hit 6 of those. So I thought finishing drives would be really important. And Alabama was 4 for 4 in the red zone. Tennessee was 2 of 5. That was a major difference in the game. So, kudos to them for that. And I thought Alabama did a great job of limiting explosive plays for Tennessee. They did get gashed a couple of times in the run game. That 44-yard run by Deshaun Bishop early in the second half was a big play for Tennessee. But other than that, they really didn't give up these explosive plays that could have been a difference in the game.
Rodney, one of the things with this offense, and Ty Simpson, he gets a lot of praise, and he should because he's playing well at the quarterback spot. It's just that when you give Alabama the ball, whether it's an 80-yard, 75-yard, 99-yard drive, this offense has sustaining drives, and they're scoring in touchdowns, not settling for field goals. They're scoring touchdowns on these long sustained drives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. That was a big key. They had a 99-yard drive, a 91-yard drive, and I think a 75-yard drive in this game. And those were long, sustained drives, as you said. And I think that one thing that makes it really difficult for defenses against this Alabama offense is Alabama has so many weapons. I mean, when you look at it, you can throw it to Ryan Williams, you can throw it to Latier Brooks, you can throw it to Isaiah Horton, or obviously Jeremy Bernard. Rico Scott got in the mix a little more with that touchdown reception that he had in this game. And then you've got Josh Cuevas at tight end who's making some big plays, big catches, and the backs are good at the back. So it's just so many weapons that they have. And I was listen. This is another key we put in our preview. Was Tennessee came in this game leading the country. I think it was first or second in the country in sacks with 26.
Yes.
They got 0 sacks in this game. Now, It wasn't all about pass protection. There was pass protection. They did a good job. They got beat a few times. And on those plays where they got beat, Ty Simpson did an incredible job of avoiding the rush in some way, sidestepping, scrambling out, whatever he had to do, and made some critical throws where he had to, avoid the rush, step up, make the play. So it was a combination of the offensive line did a good job, and Ty Simpson did an incredible job when he was under pressure.
Yeah, he really did, and he's continued to do so. And then they did shuffle the offensive line starting lineup. We thought we might see Mike Carroll, Jaden Roberts. We even saw, Gino Vandermark in for Cam Dewberry. But they continued the rotations, Rodney, and still I thought did a solid job, as you pointed out, holding Tennessee sackless and keeping Ty upright, which I thought was going to be one of the key elements of the game, giving Ty Simpson a chance to make some plays, which he did against that Tennessee defense.
Yeah. Like we said, keeping him upright was a real key. And Alabama on the flip side of that. How about this? Alabama was the team with the sacks. They had 4, and Tennessee only had 3 quarterback hurries in the game. But Alabama had 4 sacks. Yonze Pierre, of course, starting to kind of feel himself. He's coming to his own. Had 3 sacks in the first half and got the sack that was credited with a sack with the intentional grounding in the end zone, which was obviously a huge play. And what was an additional to that was Tennessee has to kick the ball to Bama, the free kick, and Bama takes it down, marches down, and puts a dagger with, I say dagger. It extended from a 2-point lead to a 9-point lead. And then, of course, the interception. And that was what an incredible turn of events. And, you're going in to score if you're Tennessee and you're thinking we're about to cut this game to probably 2 points here. And boom, it goes the other way.
Mm-hmm. And now you've already mentioned it could be a trap game against South Carolina. That game will be at 2:30 in Williams-Brice Stadium. It'll be an interesting one. Alabama trying to finish this gauntlet of a month before getting to the bye week to heal up and get ready for LSU. But they won't be on campus again for 3 weeks until the Tigers come to town. But they welcomed a lot of great visitors as far as recruiting on campus, and were able to get a big flip along the defensive line yesterday, Rodney.
Yeah, obviously Corey Howard that was committed to Georgia from Valdosta, 6'6", 245, got a great frame. Yeah, he's a good-looking kid, athletic kid. Georgia apparently wanted to keep him, in their commit list. But, so it's just another guy that I think you can take that has all these raw tools and hopefully develop him over time. But I mean, again, these guys with this kind of height and this kind of, potential, even though they're raw, they're certainly guys that you got to get. And I think Alabama right now, when you look at their defensive line class, it's a pretty solid group, with the addition of Howard, and then obviously you got J.J. Finch, you got Jamarian Matthews, you've got the Amari Johnson kid, and Nolan Wilson out of Mississippi. That's a really good group right there. You'd like to have a dominant interior player, and who knows? I mean, Finch is 280. Maybe he can become that guy, but and maybe some of these other guys get bigger too. But it's a pretty solid defensive line class.
Ronnie, Drew alluded to it in the beginning. Big recruiting weekend as well for the Tide.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was, that most of the guys, a lot of 2027 guys, but all the, top commits that they have right now, Xavier Griffin, Jordan Edmonds, Nolan Wilson, the defensive lineman, Jet Tamala was here. It was his official visit, the quarterback out of Nebraska. So, the Cedarian Morgan was again here. So they had their top dogs. Xavier Crowell, I think, was here as well. So, they had their commits here. All of them made it. Again, it's the way things are now. Getting top guys to flip late doesn't seem like that's going to be the trend. So it's good to be able that Alabama's pretty much loaded up with their top guys.
Well, it is, and no doubt it's going to be an interesting road trip to South Carolina as Alabama wants to continue this hot streak and move to 7-1 and try to contain a guy that really hurt them a year ago when Lenore Sellers of South Carolina nearly pulled off the upset inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. So going to be, a mindset game for Alabama coming up this Saturday. But, Rodney, we always appreciate it, and let everybody know how to follow you at TiderInsider.com.
Right. It's TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check. That gives you all our premium information. But also it includes our all sports forum. That's our community there. It's nonstop. Tons of discussion right there on TiderInsider.com.
Thank you, Rodney.
Thanks, Rodney.
Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
All right, Rodney, you were kind enough to spend some time with us there. Let's get a break in. Wrap up
his time
hour
was
one
precious,
next.
and he had more than 5 minutes.
Yes.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We are a championship school, and school is in session.
He'll go on the toss to Jam. He cuts it back. He's got a first down.
Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide head east for SEC action against South Carolina. Our coverage begins at 11:30 on your home for Alabama football.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama, located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Short time left here in
before our bonus
2.
third hour.
Yes, and that's where we're, in case you have not heard, we will be on with you this morning until 10 a.m., so you're getting a little Talking Ball extra time here this morning. That's okay.
It's like going back in the nostalgia when we used to do a Facebook hour here for an hour at Bill Penny Toyota. Yeah.
Or
we would rehash some things.
Or before there was no morning show after us and we were here, we would just be like, screw it. We're just going to go 10 or 15 minutes longer because we felt like it.
We did that with the Bama recap show yesterday. And then speaking of recaps, I thought Jackson, Arnold, he struggled, but I just, we'll see if Auburn can get it fixed. I mean, it's maddening what's happening with their defense playing so well. It's just like rinse, repeat every game. Yep. They've got a chance to win every game. They've played a very much like Alabama, a very tough schedule, but Alabama, while they find a way to win, Auburn seems to do the exact opposite, find ways to lose.
All right, we got another hour coming up of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We'll do some happy trails when we return.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by Guthrie's, home of the original chicken finger and a proud partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Visit us in store or online at Guthrie'sChicken.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Here are some final thoughts from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Kalen DeBoer, after Alabama's win over Tennessee on Saturday.
Just really proud of our guys. Another gutty win against a very good team, well coached, and just they constantly put pressure on you, especially with their offense. And they got some playmakers defensively. Wasn't perfect. You'd love to have no turnovers and all that good stuff, but our guys just did a nice job of continuing to fight, just like we have been. And we played for 4 quarters, a big rivalry game. So glad we can do that for our fan base and appreciate the support we had tonight. Loud and just great energy from the time we did the walk. Our guys felt that. Appreciate everyone showing up for that and just feeding off it all game long. So
I'll have more in a moment.
This year, we honor the most important anniversary ever.
An event that reshaped civilization as we know it. A day that would lead to something so flawless that nothing could ever really compare. People have tried to match it, but have failed. This year, we celebrate the 60th anniversary of Guthrie's, the home of the original chicken finger. Just talking about it gets me all choked up. And hungry for a chicken finger. Guthrie's, an original obsession for 60 years.
Join us tonight for Crimson Tide Rewind, live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Vestavia Hills at 6 p.m. Central. You can listen on our radio network, the Varsity Network app, as well as catch a video replay on the CTSN YouTube channel. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Guthrie's. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
We're studying game film,
Seems to me there's more to college than just hitting the books.
scribbling X's and O's, even running wind sprints to get our voices in shape. All this for our coverage of college football just for you.
Just leave it to the professionals.
From spring drills to hoisting the national championship trophy. When you want football, you want 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour number 3 of the show, Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And if you're tuning in expecting to hear the Blitz, the guys are off today. Other stuff kind of going on for them, so we're taking over for another hour. We'll be with you until 10 o'clock, so you can still give us a call, 256-576-4977. On the neighbors, or I should say on the phone lines, coming up in this hour, Tony Sakalis will join us. We'll break down that UAB win over Memphis.
What it could mean for Alex Mortensen.
Yeah, because there's interesting there, but happy trails again. We talked about it in hour number 1 of the show, but Florida finally, and there was a lot of fire to this going into the week that this would possibly be Billy Napier's last game as Florida head football coach. The Gators do ultimately beat Mississippi State.
Took a miracle because it looked like Mississippi State would have a chance to kick a field goal and win a game through an interception late.
Dumb
Brutal
play, though, by Blake Shapen. You're already in field goal range. Just
crazy.
Don't throw that ball. But there was a lot of chants during that game. Fire Billy, fire Billy. There was a coaches meeting yesterday at noon there on the campus, and ultimately Billy Napier gone as Florida head coach. And what does it mean for the Gators? Well, they're going to have to write a check for $21 million. That is due within 30 days. And there's no offset clause if he gets another job. So Florida's stuck to having to pay him that money there. Billy Gonzalez is going to take over as interim head coach. He was on Urban Meyer's staff there for the Gators national championship teams in 06 and 08, was co-offensive coordinator under Dan Mullen, and joined Napier's staff in 23.
Yeah, so he's very familiar with the Florida program and going to take over there instead of some people speculated might be defensive coordinator Ron Roberts, but it's not. Gators defense is much like Auburn, played very, very well. The offense has been a struggle bus. They did escape the swamp with a win over Mississippi State. So we will see, how they respond to this coaching change. They're going into a bye week this week, Scott. They will not be playing, and that's I think why a lot of people thought Billy Denver might be let go now.
Yeah,
and then it gives Florida a chance to retool and get ready for the cocktail party in Jacksonville and play against Kirby Smart's Georgia Bulldogs. So, and allows Florida to get a jump on this coaching search. Hope to catch up with Keith Niebuhr this week, but Keith Niebuhr saying and writing in his column that the numero uno candidato is Lane Kiffin.
Well, if you watched the Georgia Ole Miss game on Saturday, there was a lot of fire that came out of that game because Florida put out a report, or not Florida put out, there were reports put out earlier in the day before that game that super agent Jimmy Sexton and Lane Kiffin were being told by Florida that they were very, very interested, or by Ole Miss, I should say, that they were very interested in working out a long-term deal, trying to get a long-term deal done for Lane Kiffin.
To stay in Oxford.
Lane Kiffin comes walking out of the tunnel on Saturday there in Athens, Georgia, and walking out alongside of him is one Jimmy Sexton, the power agent there on hand in Athens, Georgia. So we are being led to believe that Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin are trying to work out a long-term deal, or was Jimmy Sexton in the ear of Lane Kiffin pondering his interest of the Florida job?
Well, until something is announced as far as an extension goes, like Kirk Cignetti took with going up to $11.6 million with Indiana, and there was a lot of speculation about Cignetti going to Penn State. There were even some idiots in the media trying to link Kalen DeBoer to Penn State. Of course, that's about
that's not
you know, but we all know who was doing that.
Heather Dimwit.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, and even a couple other insiders tried to connect him to the job, but it's not going to happen. You know, I still think it's going to be one or two people there. I think it'll be either Matt Campbell or Matt Rule. And I know Rule has a huge buyout in Nebraska,
right?
But they just laid a turd and lost at Minnesota 24-6 this weekend. So we will see. But I honestly think Matt Campbell would be the best fit for Penn State. But we'll see what happens going forward. Lane Kiffin's going to be discussed because I think he almost went to Auburn a few years ago before they hired Hugh Freeze. And he decided to stay home because he's got his whole family in Oxford now. So I'm going to be fascinated. They let one get away from them. They were up 35-26 in the second half, and really Georgia dominated the fourth quarter to pull away and win that game 43-35. But once again, you got to give Kirby and his staff a lot of credit. They adjusted, shut down the Ole Miss offense in the fourth quarter. I think held them to 13 yards after they had really had been a track meet. Trinidad Chandler had put up numbers, and Ole Miss had been scoring points, but neither team could get a stop. But fourth quarter really shifted things, and Georgia got the win in Athens, and so we'll see how Ole Miss responds because now they've got a tough road trip to Norman, Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma's win wasn't pretty over South Carolina, but their defense is outstanding. You heard Rodney Orr call it basically the best in the SEC. So I'm going to really be fascinated to see, how healthy is Mateer? Is he getting better?
Right.
And then how can Wild Turkey's defense, a.k.a. Pete Golding, can they stop Oklahoma and then get a big road win? Because I have to say right now, I like the Sooners in this game. I think it's going to be close.
Right.
But this will be a big game, too, for Brent Venables, who took a lot of heat for the turd they laid against Texas.
No, you are absolutely correct. Now, staying in the state of Florida, there was a lot of feeling because Florida State downward trend. There was a lot of feeling that Florida State possibly, and then there were reports, and yes, it did happen in one aspect, but Florida State officials, there was a report out there that they were meeting over the weekend and possibly Mike Norvell would also be let go and there would be a change at Florida State. And yes, Florida State, Michael Alford, the AD there, they did meet, but moments ago issued a statement saying our comprehensive assessment of the football program will be completed at season's end. Meanwhile, we are fully committed to helping Coach Norvell and the 25 Seminoles strongly rebound in the coming week. So Florida State is not making a change. Mike Norvell, as of right now, that does not mean at the season's end they will make a change or will not make a change.
It just means he's going to coach the rest of the season before getting axed.
Yes. Mike Norvell will be on the sidelines for Florida State the entire way through this one.
And it sounds like after that opening bunch of harmony that the Gus bus has got a couple of flats. I don't think it's going so well.
Do you think? Well, and here is the thing. There are people, and just to your point though, there were people championing for Gus Malzahn to get, another shot at being a head coach, either in Arkansas or somewhere. There are people that are clamoring for Gus Malzahn, putting his name out there. Now, we don't know if he has people doing that or if his agent is getting word out there that he's interested. But, I mean, he could be back on the sidelines somewhere after this year.
Man, Gus could have gone to Arkansas instead of taking that extension at Auburn, but he took the extension at Auburn, and we all know what happened. He got paid.
Yes, he did.
After the COVID season of 2020, he got the axe. And so Auburn's been trying to, recover ever since and hired Brian Harsin. It was a horrendous fit. And then they hired Hugh Freeze, and it's not gone well so far.
So Florida State puts out a statement saying they are behind, at least for now, for Mike Norvell until the end of the season. John Cohen was asked last week about Hugh Freeze.
About the crank into the car.
And it didn't come out and really it was a weird endorsement because it was about, buying a car and you expect it to start and one of these days it's not and all that other stuff. Do you think John Cohen comes out with a statement in the next 8 hours or 10 hours in some way, either supporting Hugh Freeze or saying they're behind him until season's in, or is he just going to stay quiet?
He's going to stay quiet. Hugh Freeze going to be talking in like 4 hours. That's what's going to happen.
That we do know for sure. Hugh Freeze will meet the media.
I'll be interested to see what
Hugh
Hugh says about the quarterback position and if he's even considering, Ashton Daniels or Deuce Knight with the struggles of Jackson Arnold. But if he's not, then if Arnold keeps struggling, that's what's going to get Hugh the zig. And, Hugh will get paid and certainly be able to go off into the sunset with millions of dollars in his bank account. But I will say this, and I believe it, Gus Malzahn and Hugh, who are kind of connected at the hip here from that same coaching tree, they are done with Power 4 football as head coaches. In my opinion, I don't think that Gus is going to get another gig.
Right.
And now I'm not saying on the FCS level or even group of 6. I'm talking about in the Power 4. And I think Gus is already done. He
won't coach in the SEC, the Big 12, or the ACC again.
No, I think brother Hugh would be finished as well. Now, Middle Tennessee may need a coach. And I could maybe try to get both of them that job.
Did they lose again? Did Derek Mason lay an egg another one?
Who cares? They're terrible, okay? I think Brother Hugh would be a better fit at Middle Tennessee than Gus. But, still, Brother Hugh, he's already done a good job at Liberty. So, but I'm just saying, I think both of them, and Gus just, it's kind of funny. He took the Central Florida job. They ended up in the Big 12. But then he had to leave before they fired him.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think both of their times have passed. It'll be interesting. I do think Rhett Lashley, who, by the way, we hadn't even talked about that either. That was a stunner. They go to Death Valley and beat the hell out of Clemson.
Someone asked me if I thought Dabo Swinney too his name would be under the hot seat, and I said no. I said for Dabo, it's all about look. Dabo's been one of the last coaches to really embrace the transfer portal
and
the ever-changing landscape of college football. Dabo's going to have to do that. He's going to have to. He doesn't have to go out and I'm not saying he's got to go out and get a roster full of transfer portal guys and all that other stuff. I'm just saying that he's going to have to adapt a little bit to college football. It's changing, and he's getting left behind. he's going to have to make a few changes, I think.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt. They've already lost 4 games. They're out of the playoff chase. I mean,
well, they're out of the ACC.
Yeah, they're not
going to.
They're not going to win the ACC. It's going to be his worst year at Clemson, really, since he first took the job. And man, you know what? That looks like Milli Vanilli sitting there having a press conference. I couldn't even believe it. I'm sorry that we're doing this third hour for the unbelievable. I mean, squirrel. We're trying to talk SEC and ACC football, but I guess when you start talking about the Bush leagues, it's hard to stay focused because I'm sitting there. I'm looking at. I know who it was. It was C.D. Lamb and George Pickens, but they look like Milli Vanilli in the NFL. I'm sitting there. Who the hell is that? Squirrel. I mean, whoa. I mean, did you not get a Milli Vanilli vibe there?
No, I do. But you bring up the ACC and you bring up the Bush, you bring it all up. But think about this, though. I know none of us had this on our bingo card at the beginning of the season, okay? That Indiana would be 7-0 back-to-back seasons for the first time.
Gotta
ever,
believe it.
Okay?
Gotta believe.
Didn't have that one. Georgia Tech. 7-0 for the first time since 1966. Didn't have that one. I know nobody had that one on their bingo card. Vanderbilt, 6-1 for the first time since 1950. Did we have that one at the beginning of the season? Well, not 6-1, maybe, right?
Yeah, not 6-1, but and Vandy's legit. I mean, Scott. I mean, we talked about it a little bit in the first hour. They beat the hell out of LSU.
Oh, they did. They did
physically.
And then how about this one? Virginia is 6-1 for the first time since 2007.
Who would have
didn't have that one at the beginning of the year?
Well, did anybody have the bingo card on Friday? I tried to tell you though that it was probably going to eventually happen. That Mario was going to lay a turn, and Carson Beck throws 4 interceptions, and Jeff Brom and the Louisville Cardinals win at Miami and knock them off, and just a brutal loss for the Canes, who looked like they were rolling. Now,
Jeff Brom, though, by the way, Jeff Brom, when we talk about him, all Jeff Brom does, and we talked about Kurt Signetti taking over programs, and all he does is win. You know, Kalen DeBoer, yes, he had some bumps last year, but Kalen DeBoer's winning. Jeff Brom's in that same boat. Jeff Brom Jeff Brom had Purdue in the Big Ten championship game.
More than you
had
say
Purdue
that.
in a Big Ten championship game.
This ain't Joe Tiller. This is...
So Jeff Brom has come to Louisville and put excitement.
And that's
back.
his alma mater. I think
Yes.
nobody was surprised that he ended up coming back to Louisville. His whole family's, played there and everything. And now it would not even shock me, Scott. I know we always get ahead of ourselves.
We do.
You start looking at schedules and say, well, Miami can go 12-0. Now it wouldn't surprise me if they choke one more time and don't even make the freaking ACC championship game and have to sweat out making the playoff. I mean, good Lord. I mean, I love Mario as a recruiter. He can't coach a lick as far as in-game stuff. I mean, we're talking football for dummies stuff here. And I love Mario. I mean, I got to know him at Alabama.
Right now,
recruiter.
think about, because of the ACC, and it's so hard to believe that Cal, and we're talking about Cal and some of these teams, Stanford, all still being in the ACC. Georgia Tech is still undefeated. Virginia and SMU, those are your 3 teams undefeated in ACC play. Georgia Tech's 4-0, Virginia's 3-0, and SMU is 3-0, and Rhett Lashley. So Rhett Lashley's job his name will come up in a lot of these openings, especially that Arkansas job there. Brent Keys doing a fantastic job at Georgia Tech. Of course, he's got Nick Saban ties. So, all right, 9:16. Let's get a break in. 256-576-4977. We'll get to your phone calls. How about some Mike Shula information when we come back? Just how bad is it getting for Alabama's next opponent there offensively for the Gamecocks? Drew calls it Shula'd. We'll explain it next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
This is Bill Crawford with Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4601 Whitesburg Drive in Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I mentioned before the break. By the way, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond hanging out.
Yeah, that was a little bit of kiss right there, just to pay homage to Brandon, because because it's Brandon's birthday, and he's a huge Kiss fan, and also we lost one of the original members this weekend, Ace Frehley, for Kiss in the original lineup. He was 74 years old, passed away, so wanted to pay some homage there. With some Kiss and again and happy birthday to Brandon. He called in earlier, and I'm sorry that his cake got dumped in the pool, but we know he'll probably go to Dairy King over there in Center and have him a nice birthday meal today.
We mentioned Mike Shula, and you call it Shulad, all the time.
Yeah.
After Saturday's performance, Mike Shula is the first South Carolina offensive coordinator to lead USC to 21 offensive points or fewer in 8 straight games. I know South Carolina lost a lot of names off that and production from that offense a year ago, especially even on the defensive side. It's a different South Carolina football team, but the expectations were high, and a lot of that was because of their success a year ago. But that is the first time this has happened since Skip Holtz in 1999 when South Carolina went 0-11 that year.
You mean Lou, right?
No, he was Skip was the offensive coordinator.
Oh, you mean the OC, but his dad was the coach.
His dad was the coach. Skip was the first he's the first Mike Shula's the first offensive coordinator to do this since Skip Holtz was calling the plays in 99.
Because he was supposed to be the coach in waiting at South Carolina, but that didn't work out.
Now the Gamecocks lead college football with 6 non-offensive touchdowns in 2025, but have just 12 offensive touchdowns in 2025. So Alabama's next opponent is South Carolina. You mentioned how dangerous Lenora Sellers can be and what Alabama should do and avoiding a letdown because you're so focused on these 4 straight ranked opponents that you have. There was reason to get up for Georgia. There was reason to get up for Vanderbilt because of the past. There was reason to get up for Missouri because it's on the road. There was a reason to get up for Tennessee because it's a rival game. It's in your house. You go to South Carolina, they're not ranked. They're struggling offensively.
Right.
But you look at the South Carolina team, and yes, they played Oklahoma. I guess you could say they played them tough, but
well, it was ugly. It was not a good performance against OU. It was not a good performance against Vanderbilt, but they did give Missouri a game. They lost 29-20. And you saw last year where Alabama looked like they were controlling the game against South Kakalaki. And then near the end of the first half, it got away from Alabama. They blew the lead. Then they were trailing in the third quarter, and it looked like South Carolina had a chance to win. And then we know Lenora Sellers fumbled the football, made a mistake, let Alabama up off the mat, and the Tide was able to escape with a late interception. Because you remember it was, Nick Harbor made a circus catch to get a foot in the corner of the end zone, and they had all kind of chances, couldn't pull it off. And so they haven't beaten Alabama since 2010 when Steven Garcia had that game. So, but it's possible. And so Alabama's got to be ready. And Kalen DeBoer's done great in the games against ranked teams, but the next narrative they're going to talk about is when you're supposed to win and you're playing a team that's wounded,
right?
But you come out flat and don't handle business.
Well, South Carolina, as we mentioned, having a problem offensively, and a lot of that is tied to Mike Shula being the offensive coordinator. After Saturday's loss to Oklahoma, here was Shane Beamer. He's getting tired of hearing questions about his offensive coordinator.
Gotcha.
Shane in the middle here. It's 7 games now. The offense has just continued to struggle. At some point, do you feel like a change is needed? Whether it's
I made a change last week, Jack.
And then I'm talking about the play calling.
Every week we're continuing to look at how to be better, and every week I do that. And every week I will continue to do that and continue to evaluate that.
What gives you hope that the play
next question?
Okay.
What gives me hope? I see the way we practice during the week. What gives me hope? I see the number of guys that we had out today that I wasn't even sure was going to be able to play, that fought their asses off to get back out there and get healthy and be able to play today. What gives me hope? I know the talent we have on our offense. And what I just told our team, we're not playing up to our potential right now. I am not getting the most out of this team right now, offensively, defensively, and special teams.
That's Shane Beamer. Tired, done. Don't want to hear anything more about his coordinator, Mike Shula. Done.
Well, I mean, they are banged up. They've, I watched a little bit of their game on Saturday, or actually I should say listened in the car on the way down, and they are just decimated by injuries, and especially along the offensive line. And they just got so many guys out, and they don't have, Faison, even though he got declared eligible late from Utah State, has not been a great replacement for Rocket Sanders. They just have not been able to be consistent. And so, that's where they're kind of dangerous because they're kind of a wounded animal. They're trying to come out of it. But if you're Alabama, you've got to kind of squash that early take control of the game and have some people go into the state fair and just leave it.
All right, let's get out to the phone lines real fast. David is with us. Good morning, David.
What's up, David?
Hey, good morning, guys. Two things.
Morning.
First thing, congrats to UAB.
Yes.
I see where UAB has the same number of wins against ranked teams as Hugh Freeze there. And he's only
during
been in
his
one
entire
game.
tenure at Auburn, not just this year, during his entire tenure at Auburn.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I was listening to the Alabama radio broadcast, and
yes,
on one kickoff return, Chris Stewart said that the bottom of the pile, somebody was waylaying the Alabama player on the bottom of the pile from Tennessee was doing that. Did you guys see that, or was there any mention of that in the press box?
There was not. I did not hear or and again, we could see the TV broadcast because I was right in front of one of the televisions, but I did not catch that.
Yeah, I did. Watching the TV broadcast, I didn't see it. I just heard him say it.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. And another thing about Tennessee is that they didn't really try to stretch the field that much with any back shoulder throws or anything.
No, they did. They really did. You're right.
Okay. So, I mean, again, congratulations to the defense for not allowing that. So
they
anyway,
allowed some throws in the middle of the field. I mean, in the first half, I thought they were able to. But Tennessee also suffered several drops. It was not a great game for Mike Matthews.
Right. And it was a good first half for Brazel, but he didn't do much in the second half, I don't believe.
No, sir. I was really impressed with Staley, the freshman. I think he's going to be a really good player, and he hurt Alabama some, no doubt.
Yeah, he did. In the back of the end zone there, huh? Yeah, caught that one. All right, well, that's all I got, guys.
Yes, sir, David.
All right,
thanks,
David. All right, let's get a break in because David did allude to the fact that UAB got a win. Yes, they upset ranked Memphis at Protective Stadium on Saturday in Birmingham. Interim coach, by the way, in case you're keeping track, there are 11 head coaches so far that have been fired in college football at this point. You add them all up. 11 head coaches have been fired. Trent Dilfer, one of those at UAB. Their interim coach gets a win on Saturday. We'll break it all down with Tony Sakalas coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Travel accommodations for 97.7 ESPN The Zone provided by University Kia.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
The AVCA Beach Volleyball Pairs National Championships are back in Huntsville this November. 64 of the nation's top pairs in collegiate beach volleyball are hitting the sand in a weekend packed with big serves, wild rallies, and high-flying action. It's fast, it's fun, and best of all, it's free. You don't want to miss the excitement live, so grab your sunglasses, rally your crew, and join us at John Hunt Park Sand Volleyball Courts from November 7th to the 9th.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
My name is DeMar Hamlin. I play for the Buffalo Bills, and I play safety. CPR saved my life. I've teamed up with the American Heart Association as a national ambassador to help create a nation of lifesavers, turning bystanders into lifesavers through CPR education and access to AEDs. Nearly 3 out of 4 cardiac arrests that don't happen in hospitals happen in homes. Join me to ensure everyone has the chance to live longer, healthier lives. Visit heart.org/nation.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Welcome back in. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. That's right, Talking Ball. We're going to be with you until 10 o'clock. The guys from the Blitz taking the day off here on a Monday morning. And we mentioned the head coaching openings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 openings so far in college football. But I tell you, the biggest surprise of those 11 openings, yes, Bobby Petrino trying to jumpstart it going on there, but the UAB Blazers, you look at their results under Trent Dilfer, and they were lifeless. They were lifeless, Drew. I mean, they just went into games and just inept. They're at home on Saturday. They're taking on Memphis. Yep. Memphis comes in nationally ranked, and it's like, okay, let's just see what UAB can do. You were hoping for a good showing, and then all of a sudden the Blazers come out. They just didn't win this game. You could say they dominated this football game.
Well, and our next guest has been on with us in the past. Of course, he was with, on 2 different stints with Rivals.com covering the University of Alabama. Then, of course, was with Bama Central for a short period of time covering the University of Alabama. Now he's with AL.com this year covering the UAB Blazers. And he was there on Saturday afternoon. We were all watching from the press box in Tuscaloosa. What a performance for Alex Mortensen, who everybody knows Mort from his time at Alabama, including our next guest. And as interim coach taking over for Trent Dilfer, just shocked college football, cost Memphis a chance as they host South Florida this coming Saturday to coast college game day. That's going to now be in Nashville for Vandy and Missouri. And so it really damaged Missouri's chances to be the group of 6 representative in the playoff. What a job for Coach Mortensen and UAB. And we're going to talk about that win with our next guest, Tony Tsoukalas of AL.com. Tony, welcome back to the show. How you doing this morning, brother?
Hey, Drew. How's it going?
I'm doing well, man. You and I kind of we saw each other at the Adaptive Athletics fundraiser in Tuscaloosa. We were kind of talking about UAB, talking about the future of Trent Dilfer, and he needed to try to get to a bowl game, but it just became obvious that the team wasn't responding under his leadership. What a difference! Alex Mortensen and that staff were able to make and coaching them to a big win over the Ryan Silverfield in Memphis.
Yeah, it was a crazy thing because not only do you have, Mort taking over for Dilfer, you have the backup quarterback having to step up for Jalen Kitna as well. It was just crazy the fact that they won that game, but big credit to Mort. I think when you look the game plan that he put in, it was way more balanced than what they have been working with. I think he approached that game perfectly. He rallied the team, and the team was also playing for Trent Dilfer as well. I mean, there's a lot of people on there that really like Trent, and they wanted to kind of show, they wanted to play hard, even if it was too late. They wanted to show that they're not a bad team, and that he put together a good team. There's a lot of emotion in that week. But Mortensen put together a great team, a great play calling. He rallied the team, and you can't say enough about the job he did.
And lots of times, Tony, when teams make a change or they make a head coaching change, they'll do so during a bye week. UAB did this not on a bye week. When you said 7 days, it literally they take on Florida Atlantic, they lose, they make a change, and then that very next week they're at home hosting, 22nd ranked Memphis.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting them to do it after the Memphis game, because I think everyone thought they were going to lose the Memphis game. I was kind of expecting them to make their coaching move after that. You would have had a whole open week to kind of get settled. It wasn't the case with this. I mean, to Mortensen's credit, I think he just kind of approached it, as similarly as they could. They didn't really change anything. I think they bumped back like one meeting or one practice like 15 minutes, but everything else was the way that it went. And I think he trusted his coaching staff. A lot of people held their same roles. With the in-game decisions, it was a little bit of a group effort while Alex Mortensen was like working with the offense. So they made it work as a team. And but yeah, they didn't have enough time to really adjust to anything. And I think you're going to see maybe some of those adjustments happen this week while they have the open week to kind of prepare now. But I personally think it might be a good thing that they didn't have enough time to really get worried or overthink things. They just played on emotion and did things the way that they were used to doing them, and then I think the emotion kind of carried them against Memphis.
Yeah, and to Memphis's credit, they fought back. They were down 31-17. Look, they were dead in the water, and they actually had the tying touchdown call back. So they nearly came back, but it's a huge win for UAB, and certainly for the what does it mean in your opinion for the future of the program, though? I mean, Bill Clark had a lot of success there. They obviously, when he retired or stepped away after they come back the second time, it's been a struggle. Brian Vincent had a solid year as an interim, but then wasn't retained. And then went to ULM, and now the Dilfer era for the 2.5 years or whatever of it wasn't successful. Do you think Mort has a chance to make a run with this squad? And if he gets to postseason, could he potentially get the job?
I think if he gets to postseason, I think he's got a chance. I'm not sure that's the direction they want to go in, but I mean, it's gonna you win games like that, it makes it really hard to not go that direction, right? I mean, you knock off a ranked opponent. The interesting thing about UAB's schedule is the 3 road games. This is a team that didn't win a single road game under Trent Dilfer. So they haven't won a road game since the 2022 season. But you look at it, the 3 road games are the ones that are the most winnable. You've got at UConn next week, at Rice the week after, and then you end the regular season with at Tulsa. Your 2 home games are North Texas and South Florida. Those are the tough ones. It's going to be tough to make a bowl game because they've got to win 3 games, and the 3 most winnable ones are on the road. If Alex Mortensen can make a bowl game, I have a hard time telling you that they're not going to give him the interim job. So that's a tall task. As far as what this win means for UAB moving forward, I think it shows that they're not as awful of a program as people were talking about. I mean, they've got some talent, and it's proof that you can win games here. I don't know if it's going to be under Alex Mortensen or somebody else, but it's proof that you can win games there. Alex Mortensen after the game said, "This is just one win. You can't get too swept up in it. You got to handle success well, just the same way that we had to handle adversity well." So those are all good points. I think you just got to take things at a week by week basis when it comes to UAB for the rest of the season. But it certainly gives them momentum. And if they don't make a bowl game for these players, there's not a single bowl game that was going to mean more than knocking out your rival playoff chances. And I don't know if have you guys seen that trophy too, the Battle for the Bones trophy. That's
I have not seen it.
I have not. Trophy. Yeah, the trophy they have is I think it's a 94-pound slab of ribs. It's the best trophy in college football, probably. Yeah.
Oh my Lord,
Tony, what ultimately? I mean, you look at Trent Dilfer's tenure there at UAB. Where can you put a finger on where it just kind of all started going downhill for him, or did he ever have any traction since taking over there at UAB?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he really had any traction. He didn't win enough games, and the games that he lost were mostly blowouts. And it really there wasn't necessarily a high point for Trent Dilfer. He never won back-to-back games.
Wow.
Never won a road game. Didn't win a ranked game, obviously. So it's really kind of hard to find the high points for him. So I think it just kind of spiraled, and things got worse and worse, and the confidence got worse and worse, and Trent Dilfer's never been a college coach before, and it's really tough. And I think he did a lot of I don't think he probably gets enough credit for some of the stuff he tried to do, but I do think he was a little bit over his head. In the college realm. And so I think he's a perfect example of, I don't think Trent Dilfer's some dumb guy that doesn't know football, that doesn't even, I don't even think you look at those 3 or 2.5 seasons and say, oh, if he wanted to, he could never be a coach again. He's just not head coaching material. I think this is just a perfect example of, like, you can't just jump into being a college head coach with no college experience and be successful. I mean, obviously Alex Mortensen won this game, but he's been an assistant, for a while now. He's been 9 years under Nick Saban. So you see how things work. You see how, things work in the college level. And you've kind of got to have a grasp of that before you take a college job. I think, I'm not sure what Trent Dilfer wants to do moving forward, but, I think he'd be a coach or maybe an offensive coordinator somewhere. And I think if he did well at that job, then maybe, that's where he would be a head coach again. But, it just he never got that traction because I don't think I kind of felt like he was in over his head in some aspects.
Well, and we're talking to Tony SokolisAL.com. Well, to piggyback off of that, I've been hearing some rumblings about potentially a change at athletic director. I know Mark Ingram's been there since 2015. He hired Trent Dilfer, but he's taken a lot of heat because of that, because of Bill Clark leaving, and then even though he had health concerns, and then hiring Trent Dilfer in the football program, struggling even with the facility upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly the same people that were calling for Trent Dilfer's job are calling for Mark Ingram's job, and you could make the argument that he's more at blame than even Trent Dilfer was.
Right.
I think he'll be the first one to tell you that he understands he's on the hot seat. When we talked with him, he pointed out that he's done more. That there's more sports than just football. And he's had more success than what he's had on the football field. But I'd argue that football is the most important sport, and he's had no success there. And then it's not like UAB's tearing it up at really any sport, maybe basketball a little bit, but so I understand the frustration coming from UAB fans for sure on that. I don't know. It kind of seems sometimes like I wonder how rotten the athletics program is sometimes at UAB. Like, would it be fixed with bringing in Mark Ingram, or is it more up the tree? You know what I'm saying? Is it more just the whole university? And with so I do know that it's interesting with Mark Ingram, and you hear some rumors in the coaching searches, and you see some of these candidates, and at least on a few of them, you hear oh, this guy might be interested in the job, and you look at him, he's a good candidate, and then they're like, and then you hear, but I don't know if he'd want to be the head coach under Mark Ingram, and then you're like, geez, and some of those names, those rumors, they stack up. And it's like, if that many coaches are concerned about it, about the situation there, it does bring in some serious, questions and raise some serious flags.
Yeah, and as you pointed out in your story, though, to circle back, remarkable job by Mort and the plan he put in. I mean, to have a young quarterback who I guess he'd thrown one pass his entire college career, he throws for 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then to rush for 219. You don't get much better execution than that on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, there's a couple things in that game that I think kind of tripped up Memphis. First of all, like, if you look at Ryder Burton and you look at Jalen Kitna, I know a lot of Blazers fans now are making the campaign to go switch to Ryder Burton because he won this game. But Jalen Kitna was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the nation. UAB was not losing games because of their starting quarterback. In fact, they're winning the games that they did because of their starting quarterback. But I will say that Ryder Burton and Jalen Kitna are totally different quarterbacks, and they're different to compare for. Ryder Burton's more of a dual threat guy. He's gonna kind of roll around. He's almost like if I'm just making a comparison, like a Baker Mayfield kind of. He can throw the ball, but he can also run the ball a little bit. He's not a big guy, but he's kind of, he can rally a team and he can make some big time plays, And then Jalen Kitna is your Tom Brady, stand in the pocket guy. And so they're different quarterbacks to prepare for. I think that's probably really tough for, that was probably tough for Memphis to do on the fly. And then similarly, I think that it kind of sounds weird, but that kickoff return that Memphis did on their first time touching the ball. So UAB scores on a drive that was probably heavily scripted. They score a touchdown on that drive. And Memphis returns the ensuing kickoff back for a touchdown. I almost think that in a weird way helped UAB because it allowed the clock, it allowed UAB to get another drive. Even though they didn't score on that drive, even though they threw the interception, they kind of set the tone in terms of a clock possession and tired out Memphis and got Memphis on the wrong foot. I think it would have been worse for UAB if Memphis would have got the ball back after that first drive and did an extended drive. But I never really felt like Memphis had the chance to kind of get itself settled, and a little bit was to do with that kickoff return, and things were so weird for the whole first half, and UAB controlled the ball for the majority of the first half, and I think that kind of helped. And so between that, having a new quarterback, also like we mentioned, they Alex Mortensen was running on early downs to kind of put Ryder Burton into situations where he could convert third downs, and because of that, UAB went 9 of 13 on third downs, and I think a lot of it was because they were committing to the early runs, and so instead of 3rd and 8, it was 3rd and 4. And they were able to do a lot of those. So it was a great game, and it was a weird circumstance for UAB. It's a rival, or for Memphis, sorry, and it was a rivalry game for both programs, and I think that was just the perfect storm for an upset.
Well, it was, and
good stuff.
Great coverage, and it's a great win for UAB. We're certainly very proud for Mort, and we'll see how they take this momentum going forward through the bye. And then, as you said, coming back with 3 winnable road games and 2 huge tests at home, including South Florida, who's got that big date with on the road at Memphis this weekend. So it's going to be a big weekend in the American, no doubt, but a turnaround potentially for UAB. They could mean a lot for Mort. But we appreciate it, Tony. Let everybody know how to follow your coverage, man.
Yeah, if you wanted to follow my UAB coverage, that's what we talked about. It's on AL.com. I also cover Alabama for Touchdown Alabama at the moment. So for any Alabama fans listening, you can catch my content there as well. Or you can follow me. You can follow all of the above at Tony_Sukalis on X.
All right, man.
Thanks,
appreciate
Tony.
it. Thank you, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, let's get our final break in. More talking ball, and we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Week 9 is here. We have 2 games of the week. Thursday will be Mae Jemison taking on Gadsden City, and on Friday, Huntsville and Bob Jones. Also coming up on Friday over the airwaves of 97.7 ESPN The Zone will be Buckhorn taking on Coleman. Madison Academy is at Plainview. Randolph plays host to North Jackson. Sparkman's at Florence. And Westminster Christian's at home to New Hope. Be sure and download our app and follow the action all season long.
At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points. Live artfully. Live Stella.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our workhorse special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. Due to popular demand, this offer is extended through September 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today. 256-202-4200. That's 256-202-4200.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Something we've not had a chance to talk about, and it kind of surfaced over the weekend.
Right.
Reports started coming out that Tony Vitello, the Tennessee head baseball coach, his name is being linked to the managerial position for the San Francisco Giants.
You don't see that happen very often when you're hired from college to the major leagues. I heard that report come out on Saturday, and I was really hoping after Alabama whacked the vomits that it would be the worst weekend in Tennessee history, that they'd get the hell beat out of them by Alabama football, and then Tony V would leave town for the San Francisco Giants. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm certainly hoping it does.
Reports out of Knoxville are surfacing that Tony Vitello is having to weigh his options on whether or not he wants to make that move, if that's something that he wants to do.
Well, I mean, I will say this. You won't get any hotter than he is right now, and you don't get this is the major leagues. You don't get a chance to do that often.
We're back at it tomorrow morning. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now,